Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
The mothership has landed.
Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. The mighty MoJo 50.
All across America over the last hour, seniors have picked up the donuts, the boxes of coffee. They have set up their tables and chairs and have everything ready to go for this Election Day 2018. They have their notepads, they have their pens, and their looks of disdain waiting for you to arrive at the polling places. This is their moment to shine. This is what they've been waiting for, not to cast their vote, but to sit in judgment of you standing in line that you are doing things improperly. Somehow, some way, you are doing things wrong.
Don't forget their box of stickers.
Their little stickers. Yes. That's which one do you want? Do you want one with the flag? Do you want with the Statue of Liberty? Which one do you want, Sonny? You have to take a sticker to let people know you voted today. Take a sticker. Who doesn't want a sticker? You don't want a sticker?
Everybody
put on the sticker. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson, Brad Staggs, coming to you live from the studios of FreedomWorks in the belly of the beast, Washington, D.C., preparing for our big election night coverage show this evening. We will be live in these studios. Of course, we brought with us the Conservative Cartel, Matt Locke, and Ron Farnsworth here with us for the. I'm sorry?
Ron Phillips. Phillips is his name.
It's something with an F. I knew that was something like that. Anyways, please, today, do us the favor of joining us on social media, sharing our conversations, and sending us communiques, questions you may have about what's happening on the streets of Washington, D.C. right now. We will, of course, take your communiques from all across the fruited plains, but we will answer your questions. Brad Staggs has been scouring the city all night long to keep his thumb on the pulse of what's happening in Washington, D.C. Now, to me, it just looked like he was picking up hookers. But he told me that his finger was on the pulse of the common man and woman out there.
Very friendly young women. That's all I'm going to – everyone needs love.
I mean, the term research for the show has really become broad. It's a very broad term.
Someone has to do it.
I understand that. Now, the polls have already opened in states like Connecticut, New Jersey, Maine, Kentucky, Virginia has already opened, Vermont, and parts of New Hampshire. Just 5-6 minutes ago. Within about 20 minutes or so, bottom of the hour, North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia will open up their polls as well. And then just under an hour from right now, 7 o'clock Eastern time, the rest of the states in the Eastern time zone, as well as the Central time zone states of Louisiana and Missouri will open. And then we'll continue hour by hour across the country.
And don't forget, this is the Republican votes today.
Yeah, of course.
Tomorrow.
I think that's, let me go ahead. It does bear repeating. I would think most of our audience recognize that by now. Today is Election Day for Republicans or people on the right. If you're a progressive or a liberal, somebody on the left, a Democrat, you have an entire 24 hours to wait until tomorrow. You sleep in today, you're good to go.
Yep.
Don't be thrown off by all the hype when you see people out there marching. It's not until tomorrow. And the nice thing, as Brad pointed out yesterday, is you'll know how many votes you need. Tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing about it, and that gives we were willing to give the Democrats an unfair advantage in it.
Right, to say, hey, by tomorrow when you wake up and you're ready to vote, you can go, this is how many votes we need in order to defeat whoever the candidate is.
That way you don't have to waste your time on meaningless elections.
Right, so for example, you wake up in Florida tomorrow as a progressive, you'll go, oh my God, DeSantis is ahead by, 2,000 votes.
Right.
Or 20,000 votes. That's what we need to get out and get the vote for Gillum tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yes.
And that is an incredible advantage. But we're willing to give that to you. That's the type of people we are here.
We are givers. It's just like in prison.
All right. All right. So anything else? Any happenings and going-ons? Anything else business-wise we need to get to before we get to the news of the day?
No. I just think that the general Jackhole Nation
are they ready to go?
They are.
Are they extra Jack-holy?
Pretty much just says vote bitches.
Somebody, what was it with the testicle comment? Somebody posted last night where you're in D.C., but they asked if we were bringing our game, our full A game or not.
So were we going to have the full mockery on parade, or did we leave our testicles at home?
Why would they suggest that? Because we're in the studios of FreedomWorks?
I don't know.
I mean, we're bringing the full mockery. Don't get me wrong.
We've locked the door here. They can't get in to stop us.
Yes, I mean, at some point, the folks at Freedom Work will likely say, we've made a huge mistake.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's in about 5-10 minutes from right now.
That's starting to roll through their heads right now as they listen.
Right now, they're like, oh, uncomfortable. It's a little edgy. And okay, good. It'll get better. It'll get better.
Whose idea was it to have them
about
in here?
5-10 minutes there, we've made a huge mistake. Within 15 minutes, they're going to be making alternative plans.
Yes.
So, security, and we need you to 6th floor, Freedom Works, 111 K Street, security. Yeah. It'll be something like that. And then we'll be forced to broadcast from out on the street.
Tent City.
Tent City, exactly. Which is also known as Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it really is.
Parts outside the Capitol and the monuments, Tent City. That's where you are. It's weird. It's almost like progressive causes or ideas are like a magnet to people in tent cities. And
it is amazing when you come to the capital of our country, the things you see on the streets.
All right, Wednesday Martin suggested something interesting leading up to the midterm elections. The great Wednesday Martin.
Who's Wednesday Martin?
Wednesday Martin, I mean, writer and cultural critic. You know, Wednesday Martin.
That Wednesday. You mean of the Virginia Martin?
Yes, I mean, whose works have appeared in the New York Times and the Atlantic, among others. You know, Wednesday Martin, author of Untrue, Why Nearly Everything We Believe About Women, Lust, and Infidelity is Wrong and How the New Science Can Set Us Free. Wednesday Martin,
Wednesday Martin. Yeah. Okay.
She suggested a few days ago that possibly it was a good idea for women to go on strike before the midterms.
On strike from making sandwiches, or exactly what? What were they striking? And what was
from their other womanly duties, their other wifely duties. No,
vacuuming.
No, the other ones.
Cleaning the windows.
Keep going.
Washing the car.
See, you don't know these are wifely duties because these aren't really wifely duties. Sex.
Whoa. Wait a minute. There are wives out there having sex?
See, this is what Wednesday Martin, writer and cultural critic, has misunderstood. See, she is apparently suggesting that it is a wifely or significant women, significantly other women's duty to have sex.
Wow.
Obviously, she is not a married woman.
No kidding.
I mean, I'm assuming.
I mean, she wasn't. I mean, that's funny.
She's starting with this failed premise that women are expected to have sex with their husbands.
Well, what's the girlfriend for then?
Right, exactly. I mean, that's the reason.
I don't understand. This is
husbands wouldn't need mistresses if wives had sex. I don't think she's missing the point here.
I think that
but this was the whole premise of her article, so it shows she fails right off, where she said it's time for a strike before the midterms, or asked that question anyways. Yeah. Because women are kept down because they're expected to have sex. And I'm like, how many times have you been married?
Oh, at least twice that I'm aware of.
At least twice.
Yeah.
Ron Phillips is
Ron Phillips.
He's married. Matt Locke of the Conservative Cartel married a couple times, and I've been married a couple times. And we're all in agreement here, 100% across the board, that married men don't have a lot of sex.
Yeah, this is
not with their wives.
And the first time you get married, thinking, "Hey, this is great. I'm getting married." Sex every night.
Yes, it's like I don't have to go out there on the hunt all the time. It's just right there.
No,
that's a mistake. Let this be a lesson for you young unmarried guys out there. That is a miss. That's a trap. That's a big old bear trap out there. That's the bait. In the bear trap.
Yes, it is. And then the switch.
Marriage is the bear trap. The bait is, look at this. You don't have to go out on the hunt, and there's sex all the time, and it's so wonderful.
Look at this menu, and then the rusty jaws of the trap just clamp
right down on you. Now, that's not to say wives don't have sex, as Matt Locke will attest. Your wife will have sex.
Just
not necessarily with you. Sometimes they have a lot of sex, but not with you, your friends, coworkers, neighbors, stuff like this. So I think we've broken down that fallacy, right?
Well, but someone did bring up a very good point, and I think we do need to clarify this. In lesbian couples, which one would be on strike in this case? Did she cover that in the?
Well, I'll go through the article, and the article seems to be suggesting that this only applies to straight women.
Oh, okay. Well, then this was the topic of conversation over in the MeWe chat.
So
room.
she mentions this, and no, thank you for catching that, Jack Holes. Thank you. She mentions this thing called sex service. I'm sorry, service sex. Quote, it's a phrase.
Service
sex. Now, Brad, if I say service sex, what does that make you think of? What you were doing last night.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, what's your dream?
Station.
What's your dream?
Yes.
Are you a senator? What's your dream? Hey, come on, you can be my representative.
Yeah.
Representing all over me. That's
Yep,
right. You a page? You take a page out of my book.
$20.
That's right. And $20, same as the Capitol,
yeah.
right? That's what we've. Yeah. So that's not what she means by service sex. She said she was at some seminar, blah blah, Montreal, whatever, and somebody suggested, or she saw a seminar where they were speechifying about the term service sex. She said women wanting to keep their men happy. These women often find they had sex anyways, even though they were not interested in their husbands, because of this patriarchy. That if you're married or whatever, you feel obligated to have sex. And she said even though they don't want to, their pleasure is pushed aside for service sex. She said the mere existence of the term service sex suggests it is common enough to need a name.
So,
I mean,
go ahead.
The mere existence of the term service sex suggests it's common enough to need a name.
It's like she's trying to communicate. I can feel it.
She said the fact that one person,
Yes.
this is really what she's saying here. The fact that the mere existence of the term, which one person came up with, suggests it's common enough to need a name.
Absolutely.
So if I just spew anything, no matter how ridiculous, you could say the mere existence of that crazy spewing suggests it's common enough to need somebody to mention it.
That happens a lot.
That is kind of some sort of, it's not even a circular logic, it's a spiral logic.
Yeah, it's hurting my head just to try to imagine it.
So anyway, a little more about service sex. She said, it's easy to argue service sex is just a fancy term for being a good wife or girlfriend. She said the problem with this belief is that it equates female goodness and sacrificing one's sexual pleasure for someone else.
Isn't that what we all do?
Plenty of us have sex once in a while to make our partners happy. Now I'm going to pause and say, before I get to the rest of the article about having, because this really ties into the election today, before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and point out, and maybe you'll realize this over and over throughout the article, she's doing it wrong.
Okay.
Ladies of the Jackhole Nation. You know what I'm talking about. You know, right? You know the truth out there. See, that's the whole point that's missed when they talk about the patriarchy in society. We give the ladies the business. We do this dance between genders on this broadcast. But ladies, you know what we're talking about, right? You have certain things you do in your relationship.
That one special thing.
No, when I was going with that.
It's the little finger.
No, it's not it.
No.
And your significant others, your husbands do as well. But ladies, you understand. You're wearing the pants in the family.
You've got half the money.
And all of the hoo-ha.
Yes.
That's solid.
That's pretty much puts you in charge of the todo el mundo, the entire world.
Right. You really do. If you're doing it right, ladies, and men, you know that too. We accept these things. That's because the bear, and you're like, wait a minute, I've made a huge mistake. You have the look on your face about 2-3 months after a year after getting married.
It's that quizzical look
that the people of Freedom Works have on their face right now. I've made a huge mistake.
Yes.
And then there's an acceptance where you're like, well, okay, this is just it.
We just have to survive it.
Right.
And that's what you think in marriage too. You think, all right, I got 4 more decades of this. I can do that.
I can stick it out. And then you realize men die sooner, and you're like, good to go. Good to go.
And
I'm just shooting for 75 and a half. That's my goal.
That's 3.5 more decades. That's all I got to hang in there
If this
for.
lady is suggesting that she is like, well, I'll have sex with him, and I have, less significance in the world and less say in life in the marriage, you are doing it wrong. Ladies, you can have everything. The whole thing, because ladies, even though you're in competition with other ladies and you're like, well, I'm not as pretty or tall or as thin and my pouty lips aren't as pouty and whatever, It does not matter. It does not.
Nope.
Men have this. Let me let you all see here. If men go into a room with 100 women, a little seminar or something, there's 100 women scattered about.
Yeah.
Men, and you instantly scout out. It's innate. You don't even want to.
No.
It's just where the most attractive 3-4 women are.
Yes.
You just it's like
a
computer.
curse is what it is.
It is. You're right. It is absolutely a curse. It's horrible. So while you're doing everything else, you're like planning in the seminar, taking notes. I got to do this. I got to feed the goldfish tomorrow. I got to pay that bill. There, and you just know.
Yes.
It's kind of like being aware of your surroundings and knowing where the exits are to protect yourself in case of a terrorist attack.
Absolutely.
Right? You're just
absolutely.
like, in case of a terrorist attack, I know the hot women are point A, B.
Yes.
Right? You know this.
Yes.
I don't know why you need to know. You just need to know. But here's the thing. If you went into a seminar the next day with another 100 women, and let's say those 100 women are far less attractive than the ugliest or least attractive woman of day one,
right?
You still know who the most attractive are.
Yes. It's a sliding scale.
Right. So it doesn't matter how attractive you are in the right setting, you're the most attractive. That's how we look at things. My point being that this is matriarchal. It's not patriarchal. You can have anything you want.
That is the truth.
Because men, sadly, follow you around like a puppy dog, even if you are unaware.
I'm suddenly depressed.
Don't be, because I'm going to bring it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Wednesday
right.
Martin, her entire article is based on that failed premise that men control everything. And again, what if women went on strike before the midterms?
Okay.
All right. She said, it's time for a revolution. Viva la revolution. She said at the polls and in the bedroom. She says, and in our understanding of who women are sexually and otherwise. She said, given the tight underweaving of economic and political power with sexual entitlement, female sexual autonomy has never been more urgent, and women's sexual pleasure has never been more political.
Women's sexual autonomy has never been more urgent. Is that what she said?
Yes, and women's sexual pleasure has never been more political.
Wow.
Outside of women saying, we are a family who votes to the right or left, or I'm going to pick a husband, your sexuality is not political. Even if you want to go back to, well, women's reproductive, that's not really a thing. The question of your female reproductive rights being taken away is not a question, even in spite of Brett Kavanaugh and others, given the fact that the Republicans for two years have had full control. And did they take away your reproductive rights? Brett Kavanaugh is replacing a Supreme Court justice who actually voted in favor of abortion and such, and Brett Kavanaugh himself has shown that he is not likely to go ahead and flip on Roe v. Wade.
No.
And has it happened? No. That is simply to
will
gin people
not.
up for the midterms.
By the way, the burning question on everyone's mind is Wednesday Martin hot?
I've not looked her up. Is she hot?
She is reasonably hot. Now, this is just a bust upward shot.
It's just a headshot.
It is,
but,
yes, but she's reasonably hot.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that.
She's not bad.
Based on the downstairs,
okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
She would be one in the room who you go, yeah, if I got to save something.
She's okay. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet a little younger she would have been even more attractive.
Wow. I mean, look, she doesn't even really have the crazy eyes. I'm impressed.
She's looking close. She's a little crazy there. She got a little going on. It's a scale. Anyways, she said that let's consider what it might mean to go on sex strike of sorts. She says to get what we want rather than give what we think we owe to others. So she's treating sexuality as a commodity.
The chore.
As a commodity, Brad.
Of course it's a commodity.
Yes, but these are the ones who constantly talk about how women are sexualized in society. They're treated as chattel and objectified. And that's the reason when people like us have argued, hey, we're capitalists and we are libertarians. So if you want to use your body as a commodity, you own it.
Yes.
I absolutely think you do.
Yes.
You want to sell it? Nobody should force you into prostitution. Obviously, sexual slavery and people being sold and sexual trafficking is wrong.
Yes.
But if you decide, hey, baby, I want to give this away or sell it. That's up to you. But she is one of those people who don't believe that.
God hands you certain commodities. Sometimes he makes you smart. Sometimes he makes you good looking. Sometimes, in my case, he gives you both. It just depends. It just depends.
So she's suggesting women should have gone on strike prior to the midterms. Sexual strike.
And that this would have coerced their husbands, their respective husbands, into voting for the candidate of their choosing, of the wives' choosing.
Yeah.
So
we
are okay. All right. I've got the.
She said sex premise and status are linked. She said where men have the tightest grip on resources, ring that bell, and power in our society, including the women in their lives, will prioritize their pleasure and create false narratives about what women deserve sexually and otherwise.
All right, can you run that by me one more time? Because this is deep.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah, I am taking notes internally.
She said, sex and status are linked.
Okay.
Where men have the tightest grip on resources of power, our society, including the women in their lives, will prioritize their pleasure and create false narratives about what women deserve sexually and otherwise.
That's a lot of words. That is a lot of
so many words. She
really
said
is.
to wit, and she actually wrote to wit.
Wow. No one ever writes that anymore. Or says it.
To wit, in 2018, the number of female CEOs of U.S. Fortune 500 companies dropped 25%.
Is that true?
It doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't. Brad, we don't live in a world where things are true or not.
That's a good point.
This is her truth.
Yes.
She is speaking her truth.
That's right. That's her truth.
In fact, we're going to cover more of that a little bit later on in the broadcast. She said the U.S. ranks an unimpressive 76th out of 180 countries worldwide for female labor force participation. Not wealth.
Right.
Not status. Female labor force participation. So let me understand this. You view this as a good thing that women have to work.
Yeah, see, that's a lot of women that I know would be just fine.
That's not to say you're not working in the home or in the past or whatever.
Running a home is a full-time job.
And then some. But I got to tell you, if somebody was out there making the bacon and I could stay home and cook, clean, and take care of the kids, I will trade that in a second. I have made that offer to my wife many times, and she just sneers at me.
Oh, yeah.
Now, she works on top, of taking care of a lot of things as well. But I'm like, that's a great – want to go back to the I'll make sandwiches for her all day long. I absolutely will.
You'd sit down and watch your stories on
My
TV.
stories, that's right.
Yeah.
She said, in America and in restaurants and in businesses and in bed, it is women who serve men. She is doing it wrong. Once again, I say you are doing it wrong.
It's a cookbook to serve man.
She said a women's sex strike against sex service or service sex, a refusal to do it out of the sense of obligation would force us to confront these basic inequalities.
The reactions are swift and strong, by the way.
She said our current administration has amped up the notion that women are mere extensions of male will and pleasure, there to serve at every turn. Trump has suggested that. He's amped up that notion. Let me explain how she fails that Trump is not suggesting that.
So many
and
ways.
It's based on her next comment after this. The very next sentence. She said what the president's insults to Stormy Daniels and other than what are the president's insults to Stormy Daniels other than assertions that women who enjoy sex or profits from it in any way, emotionally, financially, or physically, is unnatural, immoral, and unattractive. Now, she specifically talked about the president's insults. He called her horseface. He didn't say horseface, you shouldn't profit financially, physically. He didn't say anything. He just called her a horseface.
Right.
Her failure is recognizing is Stormy Daniels did profit from sex with the president, and the president was he wasn't the president at the time, but he was fine. He used her services.
She reneged on the agreement.
Right, exactly.
She took money to zip it and then said, I'm not
doesn't the president actually support that notion?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
MoJo for every state. MoJo 50.
Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs live from the studios of FreedomWorks in Washington, D.C. on this election day. Just covering things. And then, of course, tonight we have the big broadcast starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Information and Mockery begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, right around the times most of the polls will be closing. And then we'll go up until midnight, providing, of course, there's nothing more significant that would keep us on the air. We should have most of the information that you'd be looking for by midnight Eastern Time. Get the communiques in. A lot of people are probably learning things. Please use the hashtag What I Learned Today all across social media, and please follow us on those social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, and also MeWe. Sign up for a MeWe account. Somebody emailed yesterday via the website that said, you guys keep talking about MeWe. MIWI, but I can't find it.
It's me as in me, M-E, we as in we,
We.
W-E.
Me, and then us,
Well,
like we, me, we.
Not we, because that'd be we.
We.
So it's just
4
me
letters.
and then we. Me.
Now, here's
we.
the funny thing. They went to MIWI. That's a modern thing. If
like,
20 years ago, 30 years ago, I'd said me, we, people would have put MEWE.
Yes.
But in today, because of other spellings, right? You put
Yes.
MIWI. No, it's
which is
me,
Asian
we.
porn. So you don't
That
wanna,
you don't want to go there.
No, do not.
Or maybe
go
you
there.
do, but
And
not.
By
at
the
work.
way, out of the Wednesday Martin story, do not Google service sex.
You don't want to do that.
Do not.
And do not.
I repeat, do not Google. And my apologies to the webmaster here at FreedomWorks. What are they doing in there? You don't want to know. Politics Puppet tweeted, Wednesday Martin reemphasizes the age-old rule, no matter how good-looking she is, someone somewhere is sick of her
crap.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's an alternate version of that saying.
Yes, there is. Several. Crazy Eyed Cuke says, I want my money back on the Viagra I bought. And Purple Banana Slug, she's a dude. Women withholding sex until guys vote the way they want goes all the way back to ancient Greece. It's not new.
Right. This is, you understand this, and that's what's so ridiculous about these terms, patriarchal society.
Yeah.
That, over the years, yes, America has been more obviously patriarchal. For example, every president has been a man. Most people who've ever served in Congress, men. Heads of companies have been men. Things like this. There were many exceptions to those rules across the board. There were women who ran companies and members of Congress and, this. But we had, as a society, generally accepted, women would take care of the children and stay home and keep the home fires burning. Men would go out there and be the hunters and gatherers, right?
Yes.
This is what we did. I mean, and there were other societies that were more matriarchal about things like this. This is just how Western society evolved. But even within that, and even within the primary faiths of people of Western civilization, there was a whole other story that was not being told from people like Wednesday Martin, that women had just as much or more power or say or control. They just had it in different ways. And even our faith directs us that if you're a Christian, right?
Yes.
I mean, men are the heads of the household. Great.
Yes.
And they're directed to love and adore their wives. Okay, guess what that means? You're putting her above you and your needs. While you may be making the final decision on what's right, it is based on their needs and what they want. You're putting all of them first. And then, of course, women, you understand at home where you put your foot down. This is how certain things are going to be. So that's the truth of the matter that's not being told. But the reason, of course, that they're not telling you that is two primary reasons. Number one, I feel bad about myself. I feel, as it's always been, that is one key of progressivism. And the other key of progressivism is control. Yeah. That it doesn't matter what's right, wrong, true, none of that. It's I'm going to control things, and I want to control things.
And no one can make you happy, by the way. No one can make you anything. You are the only person who can make you.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree.
You can allow someone to affect you. You cannot. No one can make you happy.
No, because women can make me sandwiches.
Oh, and
that would make me happy, right?
I stand corrected.
Okay.
Sometimes that one slips by me. I think it's just too early in the morning here on the East Coast.
I understand. All right, we're going to get to some of your communiques coming up, but if some of what we're talking about is frustrating to you as a man, and you don't like the notion that, you know what, women have always controlled these things, you probably don't want to live a long time.
That's true. That's true.
You're saying 75 and I'm out, baby. Just a few more years. You're looking forward to the sweet respite of death.
Oh, it is going to be so. Think about how quiet it'll be.
Right. Am I right? You're like, oh, my gosh, this is fantastic. But if you're somebody that has a pretty good life,
right?
Let's say you're a single man and want to live a long time, you're going to want to save your heart. Heart disease is one of the chief killers in America of Americans. Heart disease, and certainly when it comes to men, heart disease. And heart disease is really common. You may already have heart disease. You want to treat that heart disease? Go to SaveYourHeart.com. If you want to prevent heart disease, you also go to
SaveYourHeart.com.
That's right. You can also call 800-77-HEART for more information on what they can do to help you protect yourself. They have a formula called the Pauling Therapy Essentials Formula, or PTEF. And PTEF is going to be something that will help you treat heart disease as well as prevent heart disease. The discovery has been that the accumulation of plaque on the interior lining of your arteries is one of the things that starts heart disease. And it starts with mechanical stress. Arteries are very flexible, and what that does is firm it up. We know things like some of that plaque that builds up and some of your heart disease is actually from your oral plaque if you don't have good oral health. All of these things go into it. The mechanical stress can cause lesions in the arteries. Right. And that's what does this. Well, if you get the Pauling formula, this formula of the essentials, the therapy essentials, the PTEF, it's going to help get rid of that plaque and prevent that buildup in the first place. Well, and you get it all at SaveYourHeart.com.
There was a story on the news this morning, actually, about, and especially if you drink energy drinks, that those can actually weaken the arterial walls. So if you are a big energy drinker, you might want to consider doing something to balance that out, and this would be that the balance.
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. I don't know if this is why. I didn't read the article you're talking about, but it would make sense.
TV, so it had to be true.
Well, no, it makes sense though. If we're talking about stresses, we know stresses. I mean, they cause heart attack, whatever. It's that extra pressure. It has to do HBP, high blood pressure, right? Right. That adds to it because imagine. It's like a hose or blowing up a balloon. That extra pressure on stuff is going to affect it because it's not just forcing the blood through the arteries. It's pushing against the arteries
and
out.
We'll find the weakest point,
Right.
and that's where it'll balloon out.
Well, if you're taking energy drinks or whatever, it's putting extra pressure because it's boosting all of that.
Yeah.
Same thing if you probably with taking or consuming a lot of caffeine through coffee or something.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. One of the other things they've noticed over the years is sugar. Sugar, man.
Oh.
Sugar is a killer. Holy moly.
It is.
Sugar acts like, and I saw a heart doctor talk about this. He said for 20, 30 years they'd been telling people low cholesterol diets.
Right.
And they said, we got this wrong. He said we had noticed that cholesterol would build up in the inside of arteries and cause, a shrinking or narrowing passageway or hardening of the arteries, this plaque buildup, but it was also cholesterol.
Right.
He said, so we as doctors and scientists said, certain types of cholesterol bad because they build up.
Right.
He said, we weren't asking why they built up. He said, and he believes that they were catching, for lack of a better term, on these little scabs on the inside of your arteries, the scar tissue and scabs brought about by excessive sugar. He said sugar, certain types of sugar are like little shards of glass.
Those little sugar crystals on a microscopic level go along and nick the
right,
inside of your
and
veins.
other radicals, free radicals, where, it said it would nick it. He said, now, your body is designed so it can process that stuff and deal with it, and it's fine. He said, but within excessive amounts, it never has a chance to essentially heal the inside of those arteries.
Right.
So what happens? It builds up scar tissue and scabs, and stuff catches on it. He said, sugar's the problem. It's
But
not
it's
necessarily
so good.
And it is, so it's all in moderation. These are all things that you should be concerned about if you are worried about heart disease or have heart disease. Prevent it or treat it with Save Your Heart. Just go to SaveYourHeart.com. The entire thing is laid out there, or you can call 877-HEART.
Stephen English says the Patriarchal Society was a natural evolution because King of the Hunt sounds better than Queen of the Rhubarb. And, there was an old, I think it was on Broadway. It was called In Defense of the Caveman, and it talked about the as men would go out and they would be very quiet. That's why men are not verbal communicators. On the hunt, it would be a lot of eye contact, a lot of hand signals, because you didn't want the prey to know you were sneaking up on it. Women, on the other hand, wanted to make sure that they were all safe in the group, so they blah 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 blah. Where's Mary? The tiger just got Mary. It was that kind of thing. So they were always verbally communicating as they went out and gathered for the berries and the other stuff that women should be gathering.
Right. Yeah, and that's fine.
It is what it is. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah, to not mention those things and tell the other side is doing us all a disservice, and it's just creating more of the divide. That's all. It is.
Can we not all just get along? The great Rodney King once said when he was still alive. Sneaking Duck says, I think I might keep a mild heart problem if it caused lesions. Or is it liaisons?
Yeah, liaisons. Yeah, I caught that one.
Either one. Bob Blah Blah.
Love the Bob Blah Blah.
Note that MeWe has nothing to do with this guy, with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. No, that's Pee Wee, not MeWe.
Yes, exactly. That would be two E's. And that's it. By the way, MeWe. I found out I was in Facebook jail today.
What are the details on that?
So there was a post that I think it was something that I had put on MoJo months ago or weeks ago. It was a Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
It was a tweet. I have no idea if it was real or not. There are so many. It was kind of like a meme, and apparently somebody turned me in for false information or something like that. So I had to go through the Facebook unlock my account thing. And that was kind of a slap on the wrist.
Right.
So let me just tell you, so far my experience with MeWe, boy, is it the Wild West out there. And if you don't like something, you block it.
Right, but give me more specific. What did it say about Nancy Pelosi? Because I looked at it. You showed me this morning, and I just glanced at it.
I took a picture of
it.
And
it didn't seem all that troubling.
It's a Nancy Pelosi. It looks like a Nancy Pelosi tweet. It says, "I'm disgusted with President Trump allowing people to keep more of the money they earn. It's this type of widespread theft of public resources that keeps America from being great, Mr. President."
So you tweeted a screen grab.
It was a.
So they're saying that's not really something she tweeted.
They're not saying anything. It just said this post goes against our community standards. So I don't know if it's true.
Nothing. It's nothing dirty or violent.
No.
So what they're going to say is that
it's not true.
It has to be, because otherwise, wouldn't they have blocked Nancy or whatever. But no.
Who knows? I have no idea.
That's Facebook. I keep saying
This is
Twitter.
Facebook.
That's Facebook.
So, yeah, I've never been in Facebook. I feel kind of dirty.
Facebook jail?
I feel like
here's the problem with
I need to be
Facebook jail.
spanked or something.
Facebook jail teaches people to be criminals. You take good people, you put them in Facebook jail, and what does it do? It teaches them how to be criminals, right?
I want to go out and buy Lucy's right now.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I really do. I want to go.
You're learning how to do the wrong things. You're around the wrong sorts of people. Sometimes good people end up in Facebook jail.
I'm going to go knock over a liquor store and smoke.
I assumed that Nancy didn't do that, and they're saying it's wrong. But no, maybe they're pissed at you for tweeting something that she actually retweeted.
If this irritates people, and everything that they say about Trump, the things that if in fact she did not tweet this, didn't say, I don't know. I just thought it was funny, and it kind of embodies what what you do believe that side of the aisle thinks.
Here's something really interesting. A guy that we share studio space with at our Fort Worth studios. His name is Scott. Good guy. Wow. He comes to me yesterday and he goes, "You're not going to believe what happened to me over the weekend." And I was like, "All right, what's going on?" And it had to do with the campaign and politics. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm still interested, I guess." Yeah. He said that he got a text on Friday night from somebody claiming to be Wade.
Okay.
That's the guy's name's Wade. And it says, and I have, he shared the text with me, screen grabbed it, and I have it here, and I'll send it out in a second. Right. It was 8:50 Friday or Saturday morning. Friday morning. Mm-hmm. Yes. It says, "Hi, it's Wade. Senator Cruz will be having a rally tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. at the Kendera Center at 3600 Benbrook Drive in Fort Worth. Text me if you plan to see Ted." Okay. Now, we've seen these text message campaigns just in campaigning as well as if you want to go to a rally, right? This is common. This is not uncommon.
It's the new world.
So he, being somebody that leans to the right, says, "Yeah, I would like to see Ted Cruz." So he puts yes. Shows up at the event time, the time that Wade mentioned at the location.
Right.
There's no event. But there was a dozen other people or more in the parking lot that all standing out there looking what's going on. And a couple of other people, he pulled them aside and he goes, "Hey, did you guys get a text message?" And they're like, "Yep, absolutely."
That's a little spooky.
So what's going on? What would be their motivation
I don't know,
for all this?
The first thing I would do is put my hand on my gun.
Oh, out there in the parking lot? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you don't. At that point, you have been snookered into something, and you don't know. I mean, that would be my first.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
My first reaction.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, why am I called out here? Am I being targeted? Maybe not anything political at all. It could just be people that are have me show up. So, what would be the motivation if this is somebody on the left?
To identify you, it's either. It probably is a harmless prank.
Okay, could be a prank. So, again, let me share this. Hi, it's Wade. Senator Cruz will be having a rally tomorrow night, 9:30 a.m., blah, blah, blah. At this place, text me Y, the letter Y, if you plan to see Ted.
And maybe it's like that reality show where the guys all got texted to show up to have the date with the chick in New York. Remember that?
Oh, that this was going to be some
maybe it was,
online video or something like that.
Could be any number. If they could go from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Okay, possibility. Someone was just goofing. All right. Number two, they were goofing, going to put it on film, make a video out of it or something. Maybe they did. Maybe the hidden cameras. If it's political in nature, what would be the politics? It's not like Cruz sent this out by accident or they were decided not to do it and didn't tell anybody. I wouldn't think that's something they would do. This would have to be somebody on the left, the Beto or a Beta supporter, right?
Right, but again, is that just to make them go through the motions of being somewhere, just to waste their time?
It has to be, because you wouldn't think Ted stood me up, would you?
Well, if you're an idiot, you'd think that, but no.
There's a lot of idiots out there.
There are a lot of idiots out there.
I just find that very odd.
Did he happen to respond and when it comes in from somebody named Wade? Isn't there a way to find out what the number was?
Yeah, so there's the number right there, and it's right there, Wade. He said he looked it up or dialed it. I think he said he dialed it, and it's a Ted number.
And that because that 972 area code, that's a Dallas area code.
He said it's a dead number. Or there's nothing there. I'm going to go ahead and tweet it out. You can try calling it yourself or whatever, and I'll post it as well.
I mean, it could be something benign. It could be something nefarious. We don't know. Those are two very big words.
Absolutely. All right, let's get some communiques, and I'll send this out so people could check it out. Like you said, I'm going to leave the phone number just because he had said it was dead. I'm curious if you can get to the bottom of it, if it'll help or whatever.
Let's see here. 1024th Golden Taint Sleeve tweeted, violates Facebook community standards. Anything conservatives do that pisses off liberals.
I mean,
that's kind of it. That it's.
We should look up and see if Nancy. You should tweet that out too, or send that out, post it on Facebook and that at some point, because I'm curious if Nancy actually put that, or if that's made up.
Right. And here's
because if she put that out there and you're saying that violates,
somebody else,
and they only nailed you for it.
Robert Cornell got it too. Interesting. So I don't know what. Hashtag me too. Yeah, somebody over there. Let's see, your temporary block from posting. This temporary block will last 24 hours. You won't be able to post on Facebook until it's finished. If you post something that goes against our standards again, your account will be blocked for 3 days. For violations after that, your account will be blocked even longer. Bailiff? Whack he is. Please keep in mind that people who repeatedly post things that aren't allowed on Facebook may have their accounts permanently disabled.
Okay, do you see the other problem with this too? Aside from the bias and everything else, now I've got to do the work to know that everything that seems legit out there is actually legit.
Right.
Okay, so now you may say, well, Doc, you should be aware of what you're posting. You're right. I agree. But if you see something like that somebody has taken the time to craft as fake, I mean, with everything from Photoshop to, just Photoshop. Doesn't have to be a picture. It could be just text or whatever. Yeah. How easy it is. So I've got to pay attention to everyone. I've got to do the research. I got to have a research team, or I shouldn't share something.
Right.
Brad, you didn't go out there and create that.
No,
I shared something.
All I said, and I didn't say, look what she said. I just put it up there.
Right.
If it's fake, it's fake. I don't know.
So this is our responsibility. We all have to have research teams. The only people who are going to have research teams on stuff like this are the haves. It's not about left or right. It's about the DC people. And those are the very people that are manipulating these campaigns to begin with. So you're being punished on your social media accounts for having your strings pulled by who? Soros and the Soros-minded people. The people, right? This is what you're talking about. Or the people in Silicon Valley. This is outrageous. Sign up for a MeWe account, please.
Over on MeWe, Ethan says, my principal threatened to expel me because I said there were only two genders. And I guarantee you that stuff is happening. Zen Jacko Coyote Thompson, Wade, am I being detained?
Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
Tara says, I went to Facebook jail for hate speech. Well, yeah, it was, and then Ethan said, what did you even say? I would be interested in that as well.
No, that's the other reason we say sign up for a MeWe account, because it is free. You don't have to worry about it.
It is, and they're working out some bugs. It's a new platform.
It's going to take time.
Yeah, it's going to take time, but you're in on the
ground floor with this stuff.
Imagine what you could do with an extra $10,000 a week. Not getting any for long. the women on strike still affecting a lot of people. Frank Wilson not getting any for a very long time.
There it is. All right, get the communiques in, and like I said, sign up for that MeWe account. It's something real that you can do today. It's mewe.com, and please follow and like the Cartel, Matt Locke, Ron Fenderberg.
Phillips. It's Ron Phillips.
Okay.
By the Cartel
Doc
Ron.
Thompson and, of course, Brad Staggs. Sign up for an account. Now, there's something else you can do as well that's very simple, and it's actually going to do well for you on multiple platforms, and that is sign up for a Patriot Mobile account today. PatriotMobile.com/doc. It's PatriotMobile.com/doc. Sign up for an account today, and you're going to likely save money. You're going to have amazing service nationwide. You don't have to worry about any holes in the service dropping out or anything else any more than anybody else. It's great coverage, great customer service, and you're going to save money more than likely because they have incredible deals. Now, the reason it's going to do some good for you is because Patriot Mobile was founded as a reaction to and to stand against Credo Mobile. The quick version is election day or just after the election of 2012. Folks at Patriot Mobile, before it was a company, some of the people that founded it said, wait a minute, there's this company, Credo Mobile, that has Credo Action, which I think is a nonprofit,
right,
that funnels money from Credo Mobile to leftist candidates. And they realized in 2012 they actually had an impact on some of these races. So the folks that started Patriot Mobile said, we got to stop this. Right. So then they looked into Verizon and AT&T and all these and realized they're all leftists, every one of them. So they started Patriot Mobile with the idea is we'll sign up for an account. We have somewhere else to go now. You talk about social media, you don't have a lot of other choices. Or Silicon Valley or what is it, GoDaddy that shut down Gab,
yes, all of
or any of those.
Domain registrars.
Patriot Mobile is a place that you can actually go. So you give them your money as service. You save money. It's great customer service, great coverage, all of this. But instead of funding money to leftist groups and candidates, they give a little bit of it to people on the right. Just a little bit of the profits. They're capitalists, and they believe in freedom. Sign up for an account today, please. It's patriotmobile.com/doc or 800-8-PATRIOT.
What?
I'm just laughing because I am such an advocate for Patriot Mobile that I actually will just randomly off the air tell people about Patriot Mobile.
Random. Yes, like the airport. It's
we were at DFW Airport yesterday, and I told the waiter about Patriot Mobile and encouraged him to sign up for an account.
The waiter was rather interested in the conversation to begin with.
See, here's the thing. Brad and Matt Locke of the Conservative Cartel and Ron Phillips. We're all sitting at TGI Fridays, having a little food before we got on the plane. We're sitting there waiting, and I noticed that one of the staff, I don't know if he's the waiter or the maitre d' or whatever.
Head waiter,
was eavesdropping on our conversation. Now, I don't get too upset by that because it's difficult to not eavesdrop on Matt Locke's conversation, even 2-3 counties away.
Yes.
You know, we speak loud. We're gregarious.
Hadn't noticed.
And there was some booze involved. It was like that. But he was leaning in and whatever, and I noticed this. And then he even commented on something we had said a few minutes earlier, like trying to inject himself in the conversation. A lot of people get offended by that. You know, that person's listening to my what do I care if you're listening to my comment? I don't care.
It's what you do for a living.
It's what I do for a living. But here's the rule. If you're going to eavesdrop on my conversation, it's not for free.
You're going to pay.
You're either paying me or you're going to pay by listening to a commercial.
Unless you're hot, in which case you can just sit down and we'll just talk.
That's payment in another way.
That's
Your eye
true.
candy.
That's true.
There's got to be payment for services rendered. And there are two forms of revenue streams from the entertainment world. It's a pay-to-play. It's you buy the album or the CD or you pay the ticket price up front. Here you go. Here's the money. Or you pay with commercials.
Yes.
Our platform, you pay with commercials. So you listen or whatever. It's absolutely free, but every so often we tell you about people like Patriot Mobile.
Yes.
So if this guy's going to eavesdrop or anybody else, I don't care. You can come in my house and eavesdrop. I'm serious. You can listen to conversations wife and I have. That's fine. But there's going to be a payment involved. I don't care if you put a camera in my bedroom as long as there's payment. The payment is negotiable. The price is going to be, right?
Yeah.
But there is going to be payment involved. So when I realized he was eavesdropping, I started telling him about Patriot Mobile. I go, hey, come here a minute. What service do you have? And he told me some off one. I go, you need to sign up for a Patriot Mobile account. Really? You can save money. And I just started telling him all about it. So I said, go get a pen. You got a pen and whatever, write this down. Right. patriotmobile.com/doc. Put that at the end, you save money. Right, exactly.
We want to know. They want to know where
he wrote that down. And then a little while later, he's, still listening about or whatever. It's fine, And it got to be about 15 minutes later or whatever. And I said, do you like rice? Let me tell you about MoJoWildRice.com. And the rule is it's about every 15 minutes. See, we went to a new model here. You have very few commercials outside. We take a little break at the top and bottom, but that's more content. There's not a lot of commercials, and even the commercials there will go away.
You're welcome.
Right? But you're going to get a live commercial about every 15, 20 minutes or so. So that's the rule. It got to be about 15. I was like, okay, MoJoWildRice.com. And I go, do you like rice? Oh, yeah, I love rice. And I said, let me tell him all about it, the health benefits of it.
Do you like gladiator movies?
I said, do you like jelly? You ever had pepper jelly? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, the best you can get. I said, it's edible memories from the North Woods of Minnesota. And he goes, ooh, that sounds good. And I said, it is. And I said, just pull it up. And I write MoJoWildRice.com. Write that down. He wrote it down, and I said, go there later and just order it. And gave him the whole spiel. They get jellies and jams and syrups. It's nostalgia. And I told him the health benefits. It's naturally gluten and cholesterol free. It's got trace minerals. And he goes, oh, that sounds healthy. And I said, it is. But here's the thing. It tastes better than it is even healthy. And he was, Ron, he was on it, right? He was all about this. So. And
then we gave him the tip about using peanut butter to attract
that's right. So we give it. I mean, listen, it's fine to eavesdrop, but there will be.
Yes.
There's going to have to be a payment involved.
You know, Raleigh over on Facebook brought up a very good point about the whole.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Real quick.
Yes.
For you listening at home, it's MoJoWildRice.com for nostalgia. MoJo Wild Rice.
It's very good.
Write it down. Write it down. MoJo.
Raleigh says maybe maybe what this person did by sending that fake text was keep them away from another rally. Was there anything else going on that night that was legit?
Interesting. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Maybe he was in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex at that time. We'll look it up. I'm really curious. And I don't know what it was just odd that it happened. I don't know the motivations or whatever, but we do know and have learned yet again there are shenanigans that go on left, right. It happens. This is the new world of politics.
Yes, and women are not just dishwashers. By the way.
Get your communiques in. Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs, along with Ron Fensterberg, Phillips, and Matt Locke, live from the studios of Freedom Works in Washington, D.C. on this Election Day. Please join us on via communique all across social media platforms. We'll be here live tonight for our coverage, along with Freedom Works. The mockery begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Probably be around for at least 5 hours, barring anything disastrous or really bizarre happening.
And we brought the testicles.
We did bring the testicles as well. We're going large with this. Hey, we're joined by my buddy Matt Whitworth, who we've had on the broadcast before to talk about some of the interesting things he has going on. He lives in the belly of the beast, Washington, D.C. Matt and I actually met today. 10 years ago?
10 years ago, Election Day.
It's our anniversary.
It's your anniversary.
That's right.
What do we buy you for this 10
The 10-year is platinum.
Is it?
Just bars of platinum. That's
okay.
right. That's right. I'm willing to
I got you flowers one year. I think that was like year 3 or 4.
That's right. I'm willing to admit all of this. You can call it whatever, as long as there's cash involved. Remember, that's the rule. That's how it is. So, yeah, Matt was in high school at the time and campaigning for –
I was passing out campaign literature for McCain.
He was electioneering, out in front of the polls.
Voter intimidation.
And it was a rainy day in Richmond, and I was like, I got nothing else this afternoon, so let's talk to this kid who's passing stuff out. So I came over and became friends. And
fell in
love and been friends since, and he's done some pretty cool things. Matt is the creator of The Swamp. Remember the Swamp series?
Yes, and that is so good. That is really, really good.
Wait, where can people? They can still view that?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/theswamp.
A couple of really episodes where unprecedented access to congressmen and followed them around. They're really candid in their comments about D.C.
Yeah, no, the first day that we were trying to do the series, I met with Ken Buck, who's a congressman from Colorado, and he goes, we were talking about the series and what we wanted to do, and he goes, I'm so glad you're doing this. This city is so effed up. And that's when I turned to one of my production guys, and I was like, this could actually work. And, they just brought all the stories. Rod Blum from Iowa, told the story. John Boehner called him into his office. So Rod Blum, freshman in Congress, very first vote is against John Boehner as Speaker of the House. Boehner calls him to his office, and he goes, I want you to know around here, we don't reward, bad behavior.
Wow. Disloyalty?
Wow.
Yeah.
Although I'm not surprised that none of that surprises me.
No, that's how this city operates.
But for all the people, Mr. Smith goes to Washington, you think you're going to go there. And a lot of people do start off with the idea, left or right, that they're going to go to D.C. and represent people and do well. And you get there, and it's about the sausage makers.
You realize,
right?
I think
and
that's
the sausage takers, but that's a whole different story.
Yes, exactly. I think it's what Fred Thompson ended up finding out.
Yeah, cousin Fred. When he
from Tennessee. Yeah, I think he never really said anything. He just went. I think
I'm done. I served a term or two. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, the indoctrination begins the very first day that these guys get here, because you win, and then you immediately get invited to D.C., and you're going to fancy dinners. You're starting to meet the lobbyists.
You want to be around for a while.
One of the congressmen said, he won. He gets invited to D.C. All the new members, they had a dinner at the National Archives, and they're pulling out all the documents that the normal folk, as the great unwashed, don't get to see.
Right.
So you're supposed to, feel important.
You get that extra level of something going on there. Wow. Yeah. You got possibly some good news about the Swamp coming up, right? It could be growing to a bigger platform and even more, right?
Yeah,
soon.
It's growing to a bigger platform.
Okay, cool. He's got some cool stuff, and
it'll be on MoJo 5.0 from.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
getting the big check ready to go. That's coming up.
Don't cash it for a couple of weeks.
And congrats, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah, we're rolling this out. Nice job. Matt's got some other cool things that he's been working on. We'll tell you about that coming up. First, got to remind you about Element Mattress. Get an Element Mattress today. Simply the best mattress you can get. I have an Element Mattress, and I love it. Element Mattress is not only comfortable, you get a great night's sleep, but with those copper ion fibers, keeps it naturally antimicrobial and antifungal and anti-dust mite.
You miss your dust mites, don't you?
I do miss my dust mites, but the fungus and the microbes I don't miss so much.
No, they ate too much. But
some people are probably going to have mattresses that are more prone to fungus being on them and microbes and such. And those people are really particularly should pay attention to the copper ion mattress.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go to elementmattress.com right now, elementmattress.com, or write it down for later if you work as a waiter at TGI Fridays. Just Element, that was busting that out next, by the way. You have a mattress? ElementMattress.com. Now, you're going to go, there's going to be a little sticker shock. These are not inexpensive mattresses. They are not. But you can get a 50% discount. They've never done this before, but they love them some MoJo50. They're like-minded people. Get a 50% discount if you use the promo code MoJo50 when you check out. It's ElementMattress.com, MoJo50 when you check out. 50% off. They give you a lifetime warranty. They'll give you 100 nights free to try it. Try it. If you don't like it, return it for a full refund. So there's really no risk involved. Free delivery. Try it for 100 nights free. Lifetime warranty after that. And remember, their mattresses are 100% made in the U.S. of A.
Right here in the United
States
of America.
So go to elementmattress.com. That's elementmattress.com. Promo code MoJo50. Dun, dun, dun.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
And your profound headlines are brought to you by ElementMattress.com.
Who?
ElementMattress.com and our friends here at FreedomWorks as well for the plush surroundings. Okay, so it is the most important election day of our lifetime, of our entire lifetime.
We keep joking over and over. Everybody keeps saying, this is the most important election. And I'm like, I heard that 2 years ago, and 2 years before that, and 2 years before that, over and over. So you will hear 2 years, this is the most important election until the next 2 years.
Yes, exactly. So the October surprises that weren't were what? The bombs and the bombs that weren't, and maybe the Kavanaugh hearing, but.
So they never found any explosive material in any of those fake bombs?
No, and the last one was delivered, I think, last Friday.
Come on.
Finally. Again, they should have sprung for a priority mail. However, the real October surprises in November could be severe weather.
Why?
At least they're pulling it out here. The severe weather heading east as Election Day is upon us. The same storm that dumped 16 inches of snow from Wyoming to Colorado, shutting down major roads, is heading for the Mississippi River Valley.
Wow, parts of Florida raining today. Remember, bad weather is good for Republicans.
So if you are intending on being part of that blue wave, remember, voting is tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m.
That's right. Republicans vote Tuesday, Democrats on Wednesday.
Yes.
It's a long-held tradition.
So don't be surprised if you see a storm system headed toward the East Coast today. Or possibly the October surprise in November could be the interstellar asteroid that is actually an alien mission searching for life.
What?
A cigar-shaped asteroid flying through space in our direction could be a huge alien solar sail on a mission to find signs of life. This according to scientists.
Oh, well, then you know it's true. Yeah.
And I showed you the picture of it, and we'll tweet an image out. The astronomers from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics.
Please.
Have you ever been to one of their Christmas parties?
Please. Harvard. You're not saying it right. You're not.
Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. They have incredible Christmas parties, by the way. They have detected an unexpected boost in speed and shift in trajectory in the red object that they have named Oumuamua. What? That's
okay. I'm just
as it passed through
I just
our
think
inner solar system.
If this is legit, maybe we'd hear a little bit more about it.
You're hearing about it right now.
Okay, all right.
This could be the October surprise in November.
All right.
The change in course and speed was so pronounced, they concluded it might be a light sail of artificial origin.
Okay.
See, you poo-poo this, but this could be.
It could just be a weather balloon too. Or swamp gas.
In space?
Of course.
There is no swamp gas. There's no crying in space, and there's no swamp gas in space. This thing is streaming solar particles called photons. They could be harnessed in huge sails in the same way wind is on Earth.
Okay.
This could be the thing.
It's not.
That you don't know
It's not a thing. I know it's not a thing.
Perhaps the October surprise in November is Ben & Jerry's new ice cream flavor.
Resist pecan?
Yes. Pecan resist.
That's not even clever.
No, it's really not.
My only question why didn't they just call it F Trump?
That would have been better.
Seriously.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to go blunt with the stuff, be blunt with it. At least when they did, people joked about impeachment, and when they did Cherries Garcia, it kind of rhymed. It was like that or whatever. Just call it F Trump or something. That's the world we live in. Just be done with it.
Its aim is to promote peaceful anti-Trump activism.
Peaceful. Well, of course, they resist and peaceful. They go right together. Look at Antifa.
When they're down, we kick them.
Peaceful. That's right.
Peaceful.
Okay.
The Facebook post, today we launched Pecan Resist, the flavor support. And by the way, they didn't go to Facebook jail for this. Today we launched Pecan Resist, and it's not pecan, it's pecan. The flavor supports groups creating a more just and equitable nation for us all.
All right.
And who are fighting President Trump's regressive agenda. We cannot be silent in the face of President's policies that attack and attempt to roll back decades of progress on racial and gender equality, climate change, LGBTQ rights, and refugee and immigrant rights. All issues that have been at the core of our social mission for 40 years.
So what you're telling me today is buy Breyers.
That's pretty much
good.
it.
Got
yes.
it. All right.
And I recommend the cookie dough.
Okay.
It's really, really good. By the way, speaking of refugee and immigrant rights, we have searched high and low, and I have no idea where the hell the caravan is.
Yeah, it's supposedly Mexico City in some sort of stadium or something, but weird that they're not being covered the same way now that it is election day.
Yeah, Fox.
Interesting.
Fox sent their reporter
like
to
fake.
Orlando. Yes, I mean.
Interesting.
I mean, the people are real. I mean, there's somebody out there walking, but possibly this whole thing was a giant stunt, perhaps. And how pissed are you if you're in the second caravan? Remember the one that they started like in Honduras or wherever it was? And they're not getting any. And they're like, oh, great, the first caravan screwed up all of the media attention.
Right.
So now we're not going to get any.
How dare they?
They're likely the ugly redheaded stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, the ugly redheaded stepchild one day turns into the hot redheaded.
Okay.
This is not good news, by the way. We are losing our ability to be surgeons. And when I say we, I mean kids these days. Think about that.
Okay.
What are we going to do in the future if we don't have surgeons? The professor of surgery says students have spent so much time in front of screens and so little time using their hands that they have lost the dexterity.
That makes no sense to me. No, I mean, haven't we been told over and over again now because of video games, kids have greater hand-eye coordination. Why wouldn't they have that with video games?
That's a good question. They say that the military is looking for the kids who've been playing video games because they have that whole thing going on.
Right, exactly. So wouldn't that stand to reason?
Not so with surgeons.
Why wouldn't it be the same?
Roger Kneebone.
That's made up, by the way. That's
Roger Kneebone. He is a professor of surgical education at Imperial College in London.
Okay, they need to investigate this guy. Look at his search history. Go back and. By the way, do we know how he got back in the UK after living in Indonesia? Because there's something sketchy going on with that cat.
He says that young people have so little experience of craft skills that they struggle with anything practical. It's important and an increasingly urgent issue, says Professor Kneebone. By the way, did you know he's connected to the thigh bone?
I didn't realize that.
No one made
he
that
and Professor Thigh-Bone are very close. That's
they really are. No judgment. But he warns medical students might have high academic grades but cannot cut or sew.
All right.
Well, that's women's work anyway, sewing.
Good point. Good point.
Why is he even talking about it? It's a concern of mine and my scientific colleagues that whereas in the past you could make the assumption that students would leave school able to do certain practical things, cutting things out, making things, that is no longer the case. He makes it sound like they went to craft college. He teaches surgery to medical students. He says young people need to have a more rounded education.
All right.
Just saying. A Pensacola man has been arrested for barging into homes seeking somebody to fight him. And it's not Alec Baldwin. That's the news there. A drunken, shirtless man barged.
And again, it's still not Alec Baldwin.
It's still not Alec Baldwin.
What the hell happened? Alec Baldwin was just a goof, even by people on the left. They thought this guy, because he is a goof. But, okay, remember the whole thing with the audio of him calling his daughter and calling her a piggy? And
yes.
How dare a father say that? Even people on the left were pissed off because it's little girl and you're not – all of this. He's fighting people. The guy was a fat slob on the street. And then all of a sudden, because of anti-Trump stuff, he's like heralded now, respected in the community. What the hell?
By the way, his daughter, Ireland, what do you think about her being a piggy?
Oh, my gosh. Is that the one
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah, she turned out.
Ireland.
Yeah, she –
Yeah.
that gelled up nicely there.
She's smoking hot.
Did you ever see Bruce Willis's daughter?
Yeah, she got like the.
Is it rumor?
Yes, she got some of the stuff from Demi.
She got all the bad from both of them.
She really.
You know, sometimes you're like,
Oh, she's busted.
yeah, she's just. It doesn't look right.
That's some of that hip young lingo.
I don't know. I know. I
What
was
is
confused there for a second there. I know.
bad,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
not good.
Yeah.
That means not good, right?
What, busted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
I told you.
I know. I was down with that.
Does busted ever mean anything good?
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it. I didn't know like busted.
yeah, I was
like
gonna
she
say
had
you
like a large
busted.
bust.
Yeah.
No. Like her face smashed into something. Busted.
Actually, that is incredible
Yeah.
Pull her picture up. I want to show you. Incredibly accurate. That's
Yeah.
exactly what her face looks like. No, not her.
Oh, rumor.
Rumor.
Okay, hang on.
Rumor
Stand by.
Willis, yeah.
Rumor
She looks like Mask. Remember the movie Mask?
No.
The redheaded.
Yes.
See, her face is like
It just
it's
doesn't.
like long
yeah.
and it looks like.
And she had some work.
You
there
remember the
to do.
show Mask, right? With the
Yes, Eric Stoltz.
yeah, where he played the guy with
The mask.
looked like his face had
Yes,
a mask.
Yeah, she's just.
Yeah, Sam Elliott and
Yeah, it's
Cher.
not good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's. Yeah,
Was it good?
Rumor's not.
It's like they took like parts that don't go together
Uh-huh.
and put them together.
Yeah.
Matt, that's what busted is.
Yeah, busted.
Just broken, not good.
Not good.
Smashed in the face like bulldog face.
Like bulldog face. Yes.
Oh,
Matt's
wow.
really confused why busted is so confusing.
I really is. This is the generational divide
No,
here
it's
going
like,
on.
We're
Okay.
trying to figure out busted.
You remember John Huntsman's daughters, right? It's John
No.
Huntsman, who ran for president.
I remember him, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His daughter's not.
No. Very.
Oh, they weren't
Very
busted.
saucy.
Okay, they were unbroken. They were unbusted.
Yeah.
Non-busted. What's the opposite of busted?
Lit.
Give me lit. Legit.
I think, yeah, just attractive.
Okay,
I
now
can't
don't
believe-
class it up like just
Yeah,
attractive.
don't-
That'd be hot.
I'm trying to learn lingo here.
Yeah.
Smoking.
What would you say a hot person, girl? I don't want to judge.
Right.
Person could be a hot two-spirit person. It could be a hot sir for all I know. If they walk in, what's like? I mean, probably some traditional lingo. Hot always works.
Probably.
Is there anything else young
That's
that
my
I need to be aware
go-to.
of?
That I know of.
It's not like, man, she is
is-
pakink. Man,
No.
F is she pakink.
She
But
is
if-
not busted.
There may be something if you go younger. If you get into the Tide
Peking.
Pod eating age range, they may have
She's
something.
pakink AF, man. She's pakink AF.
I'm using that from now on.
Pakink, man. P-A-K-I-N-K. That's
She's
F.
mended.
But
That's
busted
right.
is so simple. I don't know how you didn't realize that that's a negative.
Well, no, I assumed it was, but for a minute I was like, did it mean something else?
Again, I thought.
You know, back in our day,
Not good. I
thought
just
boobs too.
back in our day, Doc, it was she's a dog.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you don't hear that anymore.
You don't.
Well, you don't want to insult
No,
dogs.
that triggers too many people
Yeah,
nowadays.
exactly.
You can't say that.
It does.
Yeah, the
People
PETA people have banned that.
People like dogs.
That's right. No, I knew busted would be bad. I didn't even know if it would be more specific, like in general unattractive. I thought maybe it was like more. Okay, we can move on. What else going on in headlines?
Well, we were telling you about Christopher Norman. He was arrested for numerous offenses, including home invasion, battery, burglary, larceny, and criminal mischief. He began his rampage by kicking open a gate. Reportedly, a woman was sitting outside her mobile home. It gets yes, it does.
Wait a minute.
Yes, it's a mobile home.
Can I interject this? So you've decided to break into a home,
Yes,
and you pick
trailer park.
a mobile home.
Yes, you do.
Because I'm thinking if your motivations are to steal, to get to
No,
profit.
he wanted somebody to fight.
Oh,
He wanted somebody to fight.
Oh yeah, then a mobile home's going to be your.
Yes.
That's going to be your go-to.
So he kicks the gate open. He walks in. He started punching. He punched her in the side of the head. He then stole a ladder and the exterior door of the residence. Beat that down before moving on to the next home. There, he fell through the open front door. One of the residents grabbed a hammer and ordered him to leave. He left the trailer park yelling he would come back and burn that trailer down. Then he went to a nearby apartment complex and began knocking on an apartment door. And when someone answered there, a shirtless Norman allegedly began yelling at the residents to fight him.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure why this is news, though.
It's
I mean, from the point of I assume this happens like every day at trailer parks.
it's what makes living in Florida, Pensacola.
It's a Florida trailer park.
It's a Pensacola
oh, well,
trailer
snap.
park.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just that, and you say they don't have good parties there.
Yeah, that
There
guy's
you
busted.
go. This portion of the headlines this morning, live from Freedom Works, is brought to you by Tar River Arms. That's Tar River Arms.
Tar River Arms is revolutionized online firearm purchases. Tar River Arms is sensational. So, I can purchase firearms online from a lot of places. But what's the problem? You can't really see the gun. You can't get a good look at it. They have high-resolution photos. You can zoom in and even see the dust on it. You can see fingerprints. And they say that's not enough. And they created the 3D imaging of it so you can rotate it on its axis and see the entire thing. So they took care of that, and you're like, okay, got this gun. Their prices are sensational. You're going to get best deals at tarriverarms.com. But then on top of that, they take care of the shipping fees to your local FFL. They take care of all of that. And if there's any transfer where the local hey, I need my cut if they're sending it here, they take care of that as well. So you see a gun online, you get the best price to begin with. In fact, Brad has some examples. I think they still have their Locke special right now.
Yeah.
They have that best prices, no fee for shipping, and no fee to transfer as well. Plus, again, you can see those high-resolution photos to make sure you're getting absolutely the best gun. But the last couple of examples that they've given us, it's easily $100, $150 cheaper. Because they had the P365. Yeah, for the 6 hour, it was like $150 cheaper, something like that, $120.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And they have a Glock special right now. You go up there. I think that one is still left, and it was $95 cheaper.
Yeah, it was
for the entire package.
$75, $95 cheaper. It was amazing.
Anyway, tarriverarms.com. Tarriverarms.com. Write it down.
We'll wait.
tarriverarms.com.
Utah residents are concerned after a second cougar has been terrorizing neighborhoods there.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how old is she?
It's not a woman. It's not a woman. It's not a woman cougar. It's a cougar. It's like a real cougar. The cat cougar. It's not a female. Officers from the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources have been dealing with a series of cougars and attacks on their livestock there in Eden since the end of the summer. They believe they may be dealing with more than one big cat. Maybe it's two younger cougars. Why do they call women cougars anyway? I mean, what is it about a cougar?
You don't know?
You
really don't know?
I'm hoping that someone will explain it to me.
You're going to want to Google that later.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me.
I can't share on the air.
Matt?
I would don't Google it from FreedomWorks though.
Yeah, I've already Googled service sex from here, and all I can say is it was research.
And don't Google blue waffle and service sex.
Yes, do not put the two of those together.
You're aware of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt,
yeah.
You know, okay.
Yeah.
And if you Google busted blue waffle, that's really going to be trouble for you.
Let's move on. They're suing to wear pants.
Who is?
Two girls. Bonnie Peltier is a 47-year-old housewife in North Carolina. She was excited when her 4-year-old little girl got into charter day school. She supported that K-8 with a decent notoriety in her preservationist residential community, but she was shocked when she discovered that the school standard clothing restricts young ladies from wearing jeans.
It's a charter school, so it's not a public school.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, it is a charter day school.
Then don't have your kid in the school. Shut up.
Exactly.
Go home. You're wasting our time.
She is suing because the dress code does not allow the girls to wear jeans or shorts.
Okay, good. That's one of the reasons you want to go to a charter school. Mm-hmm. There are certain controls parents want. If you don't like that charter school, put them in another one. Mm-hmm. Put them in the little girls can wear jeans charter school, and if they don't have one, start one or move.
I was going to say, they have one of those in that community?
I do.
The little girl can wear jeans charter school.
I will now that I know there's a market for it.
Is that K-8?
Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Doc's Little Girls Can Wear Jeans in my charter school. Why not? If there's money involved.
If someone is willing
to pay for
it.
Mm-hmm. Other people may want this.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, it's a non-issue.
Today is the most important election of our lifetime, and there are 48 days until Christmas, by the way. It's now also National Nachos Day.
Oh, good.
Except if they put cheese sauce on it. Yeah, I hate cheese sauce. That is not. This day in history, it was 1995 that someone moved to Baltimore. You should know this.
Someone, what day? 95.
95.
Oh, Tawana Brawley. Tawana Brawley moved to Baltimore.
Art Modell announces the Browns are moving to Baltimore.
That's gone from my head. No, we will not speak of such things. We will not speak of such things.
In 1982, a woman killed her husband with antifreeze.
By the way, during the whole thing, all the way leading up to Christmas, when Modell announced he was, moving the team, it was very contentious. And a local radio station just had, right around Christmas, a drop that sounded like Art going, Hey, it's Art Modell. Merry Christmas.
Those, by the way, are your headlines.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
Coming to you live from the studios of FreedomWorks in Washington, D.C. It's your Daily Mojo, Doc Thompson, Brad Staggs. My buddy Matt Whitworth joining us as well for a segment because he's also the creator of a new app, and we touched a little bit on it. It's for the purpose of battling all of these leftist social media sites, Silicon Valley that's leftist. We had Gab shut down. I think they may be back up now, but Gab shut down because of GoDaddy and all of the progressive agenda. So Matt had the idea of an app that would aggregate conservative content. That's basically the starting point, right?
Yeah, we just wanted to find a realistic workaround to whatever sort of nefarious shadow banning was going on from these tech companies. And it doesn't have to be, a high-level person at Twitter or Facebook. We saw the girl at Twitter on her way out the door who took the president's account down for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
95% of the political donations going to Democrats. So we said, what's a realistic way to aggregate all of this great conservative video content into one place?
Because that's, aside from the shadow banning in particular, it's the content that you're sharing that's not getting from person to person.
Right. So you don't know if you search MoJo 50 or President Trump into YouTube, and you see the search results, are you seeing what you want to see, or are you seeing what
it's manipulated by them?
They want you to see.
Right.
Exactly. So we said, let's work with conservative publishers and get them to, aggregate this video content into one place.
And then you could grow from there, maybe original content and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we take things like The Swamp, we move it over to the app. And partner up with some of these great conservative sites as well. Because, the thought is if you guys do a video and PragerU talks about it, they benefit, you benefit. So
the synergy works perfect, right?
Exactly.
So it's called The Update, and he got all the tech done. He got the partners involved. All of this is rolling out. You were all set to go weeks ago. Matt's been telling me about this for months and months. Said we're going to launch on the 23rd of October.
Yep.
Everything's done. It's the partners with organizations like ours and the contents, and you're good. And then
Apple.
it didn't happen. Yeah, what happened?
And then Apple.
So you have the tech and the website or the app built.
The app is built.
And the partners are there.
And the partners are there.
And the people want it. But how come they're not getting it? What is going on?
So we went to go through Apple's final review process.
They have to be a part of this if you want them to deliver it.
They have to give the thumbs up. And, we based our app design on other similar apps. There's apps on the left and the right that sort of do the same thing.
Right.
And we based it off of that. And then we hit this Apple came back and said, well, this doesn't fit into our criteria at this point. So then we corrected that.
And what was the criteria?
Well, I guess they're moving away from their line was, well, we don't want the app to have the same functionality as the website. We wanted to make it unique, which every app has the same functionality as the website.
Yes, it's like a miniaturized, quick get-to version of the website.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we'll add some things in the first version that we weren't planning on adding until later.
Okay, but real quick, there are apps out there that still exist that are in line with what you were originally trying to do that they haven't shut down or anything, right?
It's a news app, right? It's a video app. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel.
But okay, they want to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Fine. So you changed it.
So we changed all that. And then it was another issue in their guidelines that we violated.
Okay, so 2 times they shut it down. Wow.
Yes.
2 times.
Well, within each one of these things, there was different sort of iterations. So by that second time, we'd already submitted 6 changes to the app, and each one kept getting shut down.
How many times have they denied you?
Probably approaching 18.
So it's almost as if it's not about the technical stuff that
I'm starting to get that sense just a little bit. I told my developer, James, I said, we shouldn't have put like Breitbart content and, different content from you guys up there. We should have made it rabid left wing, sailed through the approval process, and then switched all the content over.
And so where does it stand? I mean, are you?
So we made all of the changes from their second review, and then they came back to us with all this legal stuff. Hey, you could be in violation for sharing PragerU videos or Breitbart videos. And I go, you know what? I know all of these people. They're all on board.
No, hold on, Matt. But even if they weren't on board, you're not in violation for aggregating.
No.
I mean, look at this. Drudge, that's their entire site is
entire
aggregating.
Business model. Not only that, there are Drudge apps on the App Store that rip off Drudge's aggregation.
The problem is when you pass that stuff off as yours. So in other words, if Matt's app called The Update was taking something from MoJo 5.0 and calling it The Updates story.
Right.
Like you erase the byline and the header and all this stuff, and it makes it look like he wrote the stuff. Other than that, it's fine.
No, and what we're doing is if you guys post a video to YouTube, we're taking that video and putting it on the app. So you guys benefit the view counts and everything else.
Right. Trust me. Listen, aggregate our stuff. Yeah. Please, aggregate the hell out of it. As long as our name's on it, aggregate it.
So we're now at that rejection as well. So we're continuing to modify. We're doing this literally around the clock. We have 2 developers basically working 12-hour shifts, where as soon as we get more feedback from Apple, we're doing all of those changes. But, yeah, we wanted the app up 2 weeks ago. It should have been up 2 weeks ago. So hopefully we'll start to sail through.
We wouldn't know anything about dealing with companies that initially say that they want to use our platform and broadcast that platform and then come back and
change
say
things.
that there are technical issues.
Know anything about that
wouldn't
either.
know any. I mean, I'm gonna dash down the hallway here a second here and get some coffee, but I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, Gab, as we mentioned, the stories are endless at this point.
Yep.
And all of these cannot be a coincidence. We've had similar dealings at some point. We'll explain those in the future as well. Of when it comes to the conservative content, well, then it becomes different.
Have you thought about doing? This is what they did with Bigger, Longer, Uncut, the South Park movie. Mm-hmm. Initially, when
I'm glad you clarified that was the South Park movie.
For those in the audience who may not be familiar with that
Bigger,
movie,
Longer, Uncut.
By the way, don't Google that. But the producers of that movie, when they first sent it into the MPAA, it got an X rating. And so what they did, because Trey Parker and Matt Stone hated the industry, they made it worse, sent it back in, got an R. Just to show the folly of the MPAA.
Sure.
What I'm saying is maybe you should consider changing the content all to, like you said, the left leaning, and then just switch it out when you get the approval.
So when we submitted the first version, we appealed because they said, okay, you have limited iOS functionality. Now Google Play surprisingly is a breeze to get through, so we didn't have the issues with Google Play. The App Store. It's much more of a pain. So we submitted an appeal, and we said, guys, here is all of our unique coding. Everything is custom. We're not taking code from anything else. And we got a response back from Apple's review board, or Apple's appeal board, which apparently had one member named Raphael. That's who we got the email from.
Yeah, I'm Raphael. I'm the board. It's me and me, but to be fair, I have like 3 or 4 personalities, so
Right,
it's still kind of a.
I just find the humor in Apple having an appeal board.
Oh, I see what you did there with the appeal.
Thank you.
That's a red and delicious joke there.
That's
that
my,
didn't work at all.
contribution.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Anyways, yes,
Is this thing on?
All right, so you're just going to keep hammering along then.
That's it. Yeah, just keep coding, and eventually we're going to get this thing through.
That's really frustrating.
But if I can plug the website,
yeah, please
you can
do.
go to theupdate.com, give us the email address, and as soon as this thing is finally across the finish line, you'll be the first to know and can download it.
Theupdate.com was not taken?
Oh, no, it was taken.
Did you have to buy it?
Yes.
How much?
I sacised one of my nieces.
Oh, okay, good. That's well, I've seen your
Nice
nieces. That's
Indian
not bad at
gentleman
all. Whatever,
had
yeah.
it. No, it was actually yes, it was not cheap, but also much less expensive than I thought it would be.
Over 10,000.
Just under 10,000.
Okay, wow.
That's
Listed for 10, and I paid $8,500 for it.
Okay, good. No, I'm just curious about that because that's like the update. I was like, wow, that's gonna be
pretty good.
pricey there.
That's a really good price for.
Yeah. If not for MoJo.com being taken, we would have MoJo.com. But
yeah.
So the alliteration of 5.0 ended up being the nice substitute for that because that wasn't there.
It worked.
Everything's taken now. Any bizarre combination. Just throw stuff together, it's all taken.
By the way, you could make some more money. That Polish American Jackhole tweeted it could be a lawsuit if you resubmit your original app design with all left-wing content and it's approved with no problem. Then you can go back and you can sue and get money.
I don't know. Can you sue? They're a private
You can
company.
sue
What would you
for
sue?
anything.
Yeah, but I mean, would you win? What are you going to sue on? What's the basis of your lawsuit?
Oh, you
they
go
discriminated
for
you?
token damages of $1, and you get the public apology, and you try to knock their stock.
No, but I
off
mean,
a
what
point
would
or
be?
two.
Yeah, that would be great. But what would be your reason for suing? Discrimination? They're a private company. They're not discriminating based on. If you said, "Hey, I'm a black man," and you submitted all the white guy stuff, and they got approved, or it was based on race, you may have it because that's a protected class. But conservatives are not protected class.
No, but
I mean, you can still try to sue for it. You can file for anything.
But a couple of years ago, it was this drip of these stories, and now we're just inundated with
flood.
all of this suppression going on from the tech companies. So this would be one more, cherry on the cake for Republican members to start saying, let's come back up to the hill and let's figure out what's going on. And that's certainly what the tech companies don't want to have happen.
Have you informed any members of Congress or anything about your challenges?
I have. I've made a couple of phone calls.
I was curious about that because Matt's in D.C. and he's connected with a lot and knows a lot of people. I'm just curious what they are they going to try to do anything about this? Is there anything they can? I mean, if you're a libertarian, you want the government to back off. That's fine. I don't want them to go after Google and Apple, anybody else. I want Apple and Google and everybody else to, number one, be transparent about what they are.
Sure.
Here's what we're truly doing. Here's what our political beliefs are. Here's our true motivations, and I'm fine with that. And we can go out then and say, let's start our own GoDaddy and YouTube and everything else, and we'll do it. I mean, you could do it as well. But when they are the gatekeepers of that tech, in order to get your stuff, you have to be up on iTunes. You got to be up every app up there.
Well, and the rules are so
Store.
vague. That's what it is. So
Right.
you don't know whether you're in violation or not. And when they send you an appeal or a rejection, they're really vague. They don't say, hey, if you do this, this, and this is what's going to get you over the finish line. So it's
because
really
that
sort of up
would
in
be
the
the
air.
lawsuit right there. If they told you what you really had to do
Right.
because it's not about the tech stuff.
No, it's not. They know what they're doing with this stuff. They absolutely are. There can be no other answer when you see this much. A little bit, you go, okay. And I try to give companies the benefit of the doubt and all this stuff. I'm like, well, okay. But there's just too much of it now.
That's very precious that you do that, by the way.
Well, no, I try to because I don't want to be the, the stereotypical person that just goes, oh, it's whatever. No, but look at it. We know they had a walkout of, what was it, Google just last week because of the payoffs. And you see overwhelmingly the political culture there is left, extreme left. That can you imagine working in one of these companies in Silicon Valley? And just being, not even being a conservative or Republican, just being a libertarian that says, I just want to be left alone. And they're like, you must come and partake in our women crying session, something bull crap that they have. I would kill myself.
Dude, I live 4 blocks behind the Capitol. So this district, D.C., voted for Hillary Clinton 94%.
That's pretty high.
So I am a spy behind enemy lines. Everywhere I go, man.
How are your neighborhood parties?
Non-existent.
I'll bet they're fun.
So Matt was out over the last couple of months when this was during the Kavanaugh stuff, and Nancy Pelosi was out late. It was at 11:30 at night. She's speechifying out there.
Yeah, so I love just walking over to the Capitol at nighttime, and the Kavanaugh hearings were going on, and I got close to the Kavanaugh hearings, and I heard some like chants and everything coming from a crowd. Exactly. And then I heard mumbling coming from a microphone, and I was like, well, that has to be Nancy Pelosi. And sure enough, I got close, and it was Nancy Pelosi. And they were passing out. I got there, and they announced that they had just gotten pizza from one of the local pizza joints.
And that's for people who are volunteering.
The people who had been out there apparently all day protesting Kavanaugh, and so they invited people to have some pizza, which of course I had to partake in. I wanted some protester pizza.
Are you saying you ate Nancy Pelosi's pizza?
Yes.
Her pie, actually.
I ate her pie.
That's
all right.
And protester pizza, which is, even if it's bad pizza, it tastes extra good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Knowing that you took protester pizza. Wow, this is great. I would have been over
Thanks for the pizza, by the way. Go Trump.
Doesn't matter if you're on a diet at that point. Doesn't matter anything. It's just such satisfaction.
Yep.
Wow,
it's so true.
I'm just shocked. How did it taste? What was it? Covered in tears. How was it? Is that not bad?
Tasted like regret.
But you said that night Nancy was she was having one of her little breakdown, where you incoherent mumbling and stumbling on stage.
Yeah, and then it was, what's even worse, because you expect it from her, because we hear from her all the time. It's and even like the liberal chicks who get up there and protest, their line and everything.
Sure.
It's when these beta liberal males get up there and
Those
they
are the
start rattling all that nonsense. That's when you're like, guys,
excuse me. Yeah.
By the way, I don't even think they're beta. They're like omega males. They are so far down. I mean, even beta males are like pussies. Seriously, they are. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing if you're a male and strong and you say, of course, women ought to be treated right and you shouldn't, and whatever, that's fine. And if you say, I'm out there, even if you're on the left, if you're more liberal and you say, well, I just believe, that's fine. But when you are out there just handing them your testicles, I'm just going to cry with you because women. Seriously, dude, stop.
Yeah, it's bad.
You're an embarrassment.
How does so you saw Nancy in person? How'd she look in person, by the way?
Busted, I think is the word.
He has a little thing for Nancy.
Do you?
I just think she,
Seriously,
is it like the partial paralysis?
I mean, she's not
comes into place. What is it?
She can't fend him off. That's what it is.
She's not Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
No.
Smoking
I saw.
He thinks Watson named Schultz is.
I see the members all the time on Capitol Hill. They'll be in Starbucks, everything else. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was behind me in line at Trader Joe's buying groceries.
She feel you up?
And what's so funny is I sent you that text message, and I was like, "Hey, Debbie Wasserman Schultz," and Doc's response was, "Slap her."
Wow.
Slap her.
What you should have done is backed up into her and went, "Excuse me," like she grabbed your ass. That would have been and just. Through can you imagine the look on her face? That would be so wonderful.
Yeah.
Everyone's camera
and
to
worth
come out
the
or whatever.
embarrassment.
Listen, I am not an object. I am a strong man.
Don't touch me there.
Don't touch me. You think what? I'm just here for your pleasure? Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Just
don't ever let an opportunity
red
like
face,
that
whatever. Have that in your pocket, ready to go next time. Listen, if you're out wandering late at night and you're tempted by Nancy Pelosi's pie, and you're like, it looks so good, or liberal pizza covered in tears, and it's just, it's going to be good, but you're still trying to diet, I've got some help for you. Riduzone is a great product that's going to help you in two ways. Number one, it's going to curb your appetite, so you're like, I'm going to get me some of Nancy's pie. Look at that. It makes you feel fuller, so you're like, you know what? I can pass on Nancy's pie. I just walk right by it, and I'm not going to need it.
And the Ben & Jerry's pecan resist ice cream.
Yeah, you're like, wow, I want this to help me resist with pecans. Yes. But no, you can just pass because your Riduzone will make you feel fuller. Try it today at riduzone.com. And then it's going to boost your metabolism. So what you do eat's going to burn off a lot faster and easier. Of course, you still got to do your regular exercise, walk about, and whatever.
This is a helper.
This is going to help you, though, especially as you got the holidays coming up. Get a jump on it now. This way you'll still be able to eat during the holidays. You'll be able to have Nancy's pie or grandma's pie, any pie you want, apple pie, cherry pie, whatever you want. You're still going to have some. You're going to eat a little bit less, and you're going to burn it a little easier. And that's what it's about. Listen, first of the year rolls around, and you're going to be like, oh, my gosh, I gained so much weight. And everybody's like, it's first of the year, time for your resolutions. You can stop it. I started 2 months ago, and I'm ahead of you all. This is the direction. Just go to riduzone.com. Riduzone.com is going to be a big help for you. Riduzone.com. Burning your fat and calories a lot faster, boosting that metabolism, and also curbing your appetite. Riduzone.com.
Suspicious Backyard Package says, I hate GoDaddy. For a long time, their ads didn't even say what they did. They just showed a hot chick.
I know that slickers you in all the time, doesn't it? You're like, click on it.
Yes.
Oh.
It insults my intelligence to expect me to use your product if your ad just has a hot chick and doesn't even say what you're selling me.
Are there other domain registrars like that are not going to be run? Are there other ones? Because I've always used GoDaddy, and now I got to figure something else out.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's GoMama.
That's Joe Mama.
It's Joe Mama. That's
there's a lot of registrars out there.
Okay.
We can just.
Is that just like the biggest? Is that?
No, not necessarily. Network Solutions used to be the biggest, and then GoDaddy picked it up, and there's a.
Do the prices vary at other ones?
Oh, yeah.
Are GoDaddy's competitive or?
Yeah, relatively.
Okay, because I'm like.
Unless you're a reseller for another one, then you can pick it up and probably get a few dollars off.
Yeah.
But
when I bought the update, the company that had it had an exclusive deal with GoDaddy to sell domains, and I was like, "Well, the update's a great one. How many do they have on the list?" 850,000 that one company owned.
And that's their business then.
That's their business.
Buy the domains.
Yep.
850,000 if you have to update those every year for $10 each roughly. Wow.
I have 851,000.
So that's what, $8 million a year just in update fees?
I knew a guy who bought thinktank.org. And he's a video guy out in Annapolis, and he got a call from a New York attorney.
He's not Texas-based?
No, he got a call from a New York attorney. He had owned the domain less than a year, and the attorney calls
thinktank.org?
Yeah, that was the one. So he gets a call from the attorney, and he goes, I have a client who needs the URL. He goes, you got 24 hours, but we'll give you $100,000 for the URL if you wanna buy it. No negotiation and that.
So he's like, this is not a negotiation.
He's like, yeah, let me think on that, and then called him back the next day and got it. Paid $9 for it and sold it for $100,000 a few months later.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that had been my reaction. Don't answer too quickly. He said 24 hours, and then it's like, Brad, did Brad put you up to this? Brad.
Anything's possible.
Right, and then it's like, so I'm guessing he sold it?
Yeah. Bought a boat.
Jeez. Damn.
Wow.
I've had some really good ones, too, over the years, and some of them I just let lapse. I did sell two of them. It was a domain and then the plural version of it, and I think I sold it for, I don't know, $1,500. It was Friendstrips.
Friendstrip.
Friendstrip and Friendstrips. I don't even know if anything's there now. .com. This is probably 8 years ago, and I was going to – I didn't even think of the strip part of it, like your friend stripping. Right.
I did.
That was my first thought.
I was going to sell bracelets, essentially, like little strips that friends share, like the gel bracelets, and people would whatever. Then there were some that remember the necklaces where they'd have half of a heart and your friend would have half a heart, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, something like this. I had this idea where it would be targeted like tweens or whatever, and we both have the same color bracelets, so we're BFFs and whatever, and then they'd have a bunch of this whole marketing thing, and I called them friend strips. Little strips that show your friends.
That's a good idea. And I do not recommend going to friendstrips.com.
Is it up there?
Well, there's something.
This was out of like Denmark. The guy's like,
yeah, there's something
blocking it.
Little hinky going on at Friendstrip and friendstrips.com.
Yeah, all I know is they're like, we'll pay you. I forget what they offered, like $1,200. I was like, I can't possibly let these go for less than $1,500. And he's like, okay.
Constitutional Drunk owns movedown.org. That's a good one.
Move down?
Movedown.org. Move on, move down. That's pretty good. You want to buy it?
No, I don't.
Sure?
I don't.
Are you
Unless
sure?
there's money involved, and then
Okay.
I would, whatever. So.
All right.
Get the communiques in. It's via Facebook, of course, Twitter, and MeWe.com. Please sign up for a MeWe account, MEWE.com, MeWe.com. Brad's going through those as well. Don't forget, we'll be on the air tonight with your coverage and mockery live from Freedom Works Studio here in Washington, D.C. If you would, please go to MoJo50.com and register for our big Black Friday event. Coming up on Black Friday, we have 12-hour marathon, Building America. We're essentially just going to get free commercials. If you're in the audience, it's pretty entertaining as well because you're going to hear about great products and services. You're going to hear about some companies and how they made it. I mean, if you're trying to find other streams of income, you want to start a business, you hear people like Matt trying to do some different things. It's going to give you some ideas, some things to avoid. So it'll be a lot of fun all day Black Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Black Friday. But register at MoJo50.com if you have a business so we can make sure to fit you in, MoJo50.com. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you can come up and do your commercial live, too. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a mini open house, some food, and I think American Pride Roaster. There may be sandwiches,
Perfect.
tins of tuna, chicken, something like that from a chain store, soda.
Egg McMuffin?
Egg McMuffin, yeah. And even, wow, you were really good on that one. You really played the second man good on that. Thank you very much for that. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Their coffee will, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Their coffee. They're going to provide coffee for us. But you have an opportunity to win a prize pack just by registering. All you have to do is go to MoJo50.com. Included in the pack, a gun from Tar River Arms, Minuteman watch. We got a yellow jacket cell phone case that's a stun gun and a battery backup. You seen those?
So
It's
cool.
a stun gun as well.
And it's a
Awesome.
fishing line.
It's not
from
that.
Ron Popeil.
It's not. I'm
I mean,
shocked
you
it's
can catch
not. but-
fish with it. Well, if you get close enough to fish, you could stun it.
Also, there'll be some MoJo Wild Rice in it. We've also got the
Dog
guy
tag
who's
furniture.
Dog
Yeah.
tag furniture as
That's
a sign as well. So
flag.
or flag sign, flag, wooden flag.
It's a wooden flag. Looks like a sign.
Looks like a sign. So they'll be in there as well. Anyways, and we're constantly building as well because we have a couple more weeks till Black Friday. So we'll continue to build that package. But MoJo50.com. Register today. And please remind people that we're here and share our videos.
By the way, Raleigh Shinlow over on Facebook said on WPIX, where is that?
That's New York.
Facebook is fighting fraud. There was just a story in the news. They have created a war room with monitors.
Yeah.
So that's how they.
Yeah, I saw that a while ago. They announced this, and it specifically had to do with the election. They have a war room for the election to fight fraud. To make sure
Why
you're
does
not.
that sound suspiciously like
Well,
to fight the right?
Right. It's their own propaganda. Now it's spun right. It's the. Oh, no, it's net neutrality. Well, I want the net to be neutral, don't you?
Wait a minute.
Please.
This means that I'm now famous up there. I was spotted
They've
on their
started.
wall.
You're on.
Yes, I've made
There's
it.
a file.
Yep.
Started a file.
I have a file. Ronnie over on MeWe says he uses namecheap.com. It's better and cheaper than GoDaddy.
Oh, maybe
Name
I'll
cheap.
switch them over then.
We have no idea what their politics are.
Yeah, I got to stop. Yeah, we'll look into this stuff. There's got to be. And Ron, are there any that are dedicated that are right wing? Because let's get
That's
with
a
them and
good
start
question.
promoting it.
I'm a reseller for Enom, ENOM.com. We can get them for relatively inexpensive there, but I'll check and see
Let's see. And if not, we need to start one.
because we will give them our business.
Let's
no
just
doubt.
we'll give them our business. We need to start one. Let's start.
Yeah,
being
because
those
we don't
guys.
need what happened to Gab
Or-
happening to us.
Right, and let's say, and I don't. When I say right wing, I mean they are people who are libertarian and therefore will not shut other people up. I don't
Correct.
give a crap about your politics.
Nope.
I don't care.
That's
Just
a good
stop
point.
denying other people.
Yes.
And it's the same thing we said about me, we, and Gab and the others. If anyone's out there, hey, it's right Facebook or right wing or red Facebook, I don't need that. I don't need that echo chamber either. I know where to find right wing and left wing, blah, bitty, blah. We just need this stuff because it's become both an advertising platform, a promotional vehicle, and also a channel. That's what these social media sites are. They're also channels. But if you are the Facebook star or the YouTube star, and then you've put all your eggs in that basket, and they change those metrics as they do over and over again, you are screwed.
Yeah, not in the good way. Steve 42 on me, he says, today is the day we thank God that we live in a free country. A country that will be free of political ads for at least a few months. That is so true. That man, this season.
You know, I so don't watch regular television and stuff anymore, and even the places I travel online, I'm just not inundated by the commercials now.
Doc Thompson supports killing puppies. That's why Donna McFarland wants to win your vote this year.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right.
After a while,
is there money in it for killing puppies?
It just
Fine.
gets so stupid after a while, and the ads are just ridiculous.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Puppy. I got it. Let's say this was a viable model, and I can pay you 200, 250 G's a year. You got to sign on to my puppy drowning service. You don't actually have to do the drowning of the puppies. You're just going to be like the marketing director.
250?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money.
What if you had to actually come down to the river with me? You notice I'm the one going to the river.
Yeah.
Because there's more money in that way. I'm not saying I would actually do this. I'm just speaking of, maybe we get a break in here.
That's probably a good idea. Yes, that's a very good idea.
All right, more of your Daily Mojo coming up next. Mojo 5-0. And it's landed in Washington, D.C., in the FreedomWorks studios. Hi there, it's Doc Thompson, Brad Staggs, Ron Philippi from the
Phillips.
Phillips.
Ron Phillips.
Phillips.
Yes.
The Conservative Cartel, and Matt Locke of the Conservative Cartel joining us as well. You want more information about FreedomWorks? Of course, freedomworks.org will be here tonight as well for our 2018 midterm election coverage. The information and mockery begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Slated to appear, Matt Locke of the Conservative Cartel as well. How are you?
Doing well. Early day this morning for Matt Locke.
By the way, Stunt Brain, our old pal Mike Opalka will be with us tonight as well. He is scheduled to appear.
Yes, he is.
At Stunt Brain on Twitter, and that's because he's a Stunt Brain. Anybody else slated to appear?
Britney Spears is slated to appear.
We don't know that she will, but she is slated to be here.
She is slated to be here, as well as
Pete Davidson.
Yes,
Pete Davidson is
He's
scheduled to be. Well, we don't know, but he is scheduled. I have penciled him in. Yeah, we haven't invited him
tentatively,
but I put him on the list just in case.
He is penciled.
You know, and what's going to be exciting? I have penciled in Dan Crenshaw as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
nice.
And
we
if
might
they
make a love connection,
right? If the two of them do appear, we're going to put them in the same small room together.
Isn't that called a cage fight?
Some may call it that.
It's called a slaughter,
something like that.
Got it.
All right. So what are you seeing out there? I'm seeing already a lot of derangement. Still, the final hours of the campaigns, a lot of derangement. And before we get to the update on what you're seeing so far at the polls. Steve King, I got to talk about Steve King a minute here. Steve King from Iowa. I first met Steve King in, let's say 2010-ish in Richmond, Virginia. He was appearing at a big Tea Party type, I think it was called the Tea Party Convention downtown at the Convention Center. He was speaking, had a candid moment aside with him. Seemed like a really good guy. I've interviewed him on the air numerous times. He's been a staunch conservative. And somebody you could really count on with the vote. And then over the past few months, I've seen a bunch of things about him that started making me go, uh-oh. I hope he hasn't gone to the crazy right wing where you're really, pretending to be about freedom and conservative, but you're really just a racist and all of this. And I was like, oh, no. He's a white nationalist, it says. And
Is there a group for that?
He supports white supremacy.
And
I see all this, and I'm like, oh, no. And I started looking, and all of these stories become a circular reporting where there's never a starting point of something where you go, again, if I'm wrong, please tell me. But I have yet to find the starting point where I go, oh.
There it is.
There it is. He's in the pointy white hat, burning a cross.
Tinfoil.
Right.
Yep.
No. It's all like this. Steve King, white supremacist, the nationalist. He's a nationalist and supports all of these things. In fact, he supported what's a Goldie from Rebel in Canada. Can't think what the reporter is.
Not Goldie Hawn.
It is not Goldie Hawn.
Supports her because she ran for mayor of Toronto, and she's a white supremacist. So, see, that's the link.
Yeah, she was the lady that had her ad shut down, and then Google was closed until the day of the election.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, she used to partner with us on projects years ago. I've interviewed her, been on her programs, been on ours. Always done pretty good job. And
Gamari?
No.
Sure. Conservative Goldie Gamari? Smart choice for Canada.
Oh,
that's not how it's pronounced. That's not it. No. Anyways, he's like, that's the proof. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there it
so
is.
she's, and I look at what the reporting on her, and it's like, oh, she supports Steve King.
Yeah.
Okay, there's got to be a starting point. You can't. What
right.
are you talking about?
Right. They just all got together one day, and here they are.
Right. And I haven't just so. I actually called Steve's people, and I'm like, hey, I want to get him on the air to talk about this.
Faith Goldie.
There it is. Thank you.
Goldie. And it goes, I didn't hear back from him. But I even brought this up. So maybe that's the reason they're trying to shy away from these claims. But I'm like, be transparent and come out and talk about this stuff. Because he's being targeted in Iowa pretty hard with this stuff.
Well, of course he is.
But I'm like, come on and discuss this. I want Steve, tell me what you believe about this stuff. Let's get it out there, and maybe it'll help you. But I haven't heard back from him. So that's where it stood until yesterday. And then I saw, here it is again, something troubling from Steve King. Steve King mentions a couple of Supreme Court justices, a couple of ladies, and uses.
There are women on the Supreme Court?
I know it doesn't look like it, but some that identify as women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Glad you cleared that up.
Identify.
Right.
I mean, I've not done the research.
Right.
But, anyway. So it says Steve King, homophobic slur. Against Supreme Court.
That's where my head went first. I mean,
and I was like,
lesbians on the Supreme Court.
Oh, no, what did he say? And I look at it, and so far, this is all I find. Steve King said he hopes Justices Kagan and Sotomayor will elope to Cuba.
Well, that's a hotbed. It's a hotbed for eloption.
So he's suggesting that they be married.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Well, that's cool.
It's not homophobic.
Right.
I'm not finding the
entire
thing.
That's like he's in. He's cool, right? This is like the cool thing to say.
Well, it is because we know homosexuality is cool.
Well, it's in now, right? The quilt bag or the Q school.
He's even technically not suggesting that they're homosexual. He's just, look, they love each other. They share their views. Maybe they just get married and go.
Maybe they should share them in Cuba.
So there's one failure that you're telling us it's saying somebody would elope or whatever. How's that a slur or a slam? You're telling us these things are fine. But the other thing is, I haven't found the entire transcripts or seen the audio. I just saw a couple of excerpts. But even the excerpts, if he's joking, maybe we'll get a couple more openings. Maybe Kagan and Sotomayor will elope to Cuba.
There you go.
Okay, Cuba's also a communist country, guys.
Yes.
And those guys are pretty much communists. So, right? I mean,
yes.
So,
are you saying they're communists?
Yes, I'm absolutely saying Kagan and Sotomayor are communists.
Oh,
yes,
got it.
Yes,
there it is. See, that's how that works, right?
You put it out there, right? So, okay, that's a pretty damn funny joke, then.
Yes. Unless, of course, you don't have a sense of humor.
Which none of the left has.
Exactly.
So that's guys, you're being disingenuous with this. What do you really hope for here? And then I see that Hello Dolly.
Oh.
You know the show Hello Dolly.
Hello Dolly.
Yeah. The national tour of Hello Dolly just opened.
Okay.
I don't know why they're bringing this back.
Okay,
fine.
Right.
Anyways, they are banning the word Trump.
Was it in Hello Dolly to begin with?
As in the verb, this trumps
it trumps something.
A trump card?
Yeah.
Yes, it changed. They says a changed word in the lyrics.
Good.
As they're changing it to or spoils the rhyme with frump, so they're changing the entire thing. They must have used it that way.
Right, yeah.
Wouldn't you think they would like to equate Donald Trump with frump? I mean, wouldn't that be a Democrat talking point?
I can see, here's the funny thing. I can see if you're sitting in the audience and they're singing the song and the word Trump comes in there, it's going to trigger some people. I think the fact that
let me help.
The stories out there
let me help you out here. If the word Trump is in Hello Dolly, it's not referencing a person or Donald Trump.
Absolutely not.
You're saying somebody trumps something, whatever.
But
it's a Trump card. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So you banning it only adds power to
it only
the word.
magnifies it.
It magnifies it even more because now the story's out there.
Stupid the left is.
Which, again, if they had just done it and not said anything about it.
And nobody noticed.
No.
Listen, if you are so triggered, if you are so sensitive that you can't hear the term, the phrase Trump card or somebody trump something without melting down, the issue is not Donald Trump.
No.
It's not America. It's not politics. It's not
never
liberty. It's your crazy-ass emotions. I mean, listen, for 8 years I heard people reference the country of Kenya that had nothing to do with Obama, and I didn't get triggered.
Right. No.
Even though he was from Kenya. Come on, I was fine with that. I heard, I would have heard people use the term jackass, and I wasn't like, Obama, even though he was a jackass, right?
That is true.
I wasn't melting down.
Nope.
You suck it up, snowflake. That's how it works.
Exactly. By the way, in Israel, there's an Obama shake. There's
a dance or something?
No,
like a frothy milkshake.
Frothy milkshake over.
It's yummy.
Yes.
And what does it taste like? Regret and despair.
Does it taste like Resist? Pecan Resist?
Exactly.
Yeah, it does.
Actually, it just tastes like okay. All right, Matt, let's get an update. For the past few hours, Matt has been in connection. Satellites were hooking up. He was borrowing some of the apparatus, equipment, and studio space here at Freedom Works in D.C. He was on. Satellites were hooking up. He had people on the ground scouring, canvassing neighborhoods and polling places all across the Fruited Plains to get us an update on what's happening. So far, we have polls that have opened over the last couple of hours.
Polls are packed. Polls are packed in Indiana and Ohio. I've been seeing pictures from several of my friends who said they've never waited this long to vote. And that was at 6:30 this morning Eastern.
And Ohio opened at 6:30. Indiana opened at
Ohio
Eastern.
opened at 7:30, I think, wasn't it?
No, 6:30
Was it
Eastern.
6:30 Eastern?
And Indiana opened at 6 a.m.
And normally that's the way I would vote. I would go in before work. I would go down to the Pine Valley Country Club, and you want to feel the atmosphere. Who's there? Who's talking?
See what's going on there?
Yeah.
The white guy gets to vote at the country club.
Yes.
Right.
You see how that works?
Yeah.
You know where the brothers are voting?
The hood?
In the sewers.
Cadillac.
They make them go
They're
down
in
into the
Cadillac,
sewers
Michigan.
and actually climb down into the sewers in any city. That's if they're not suppressing their votes. And
Yeah.
there you are,
Barefoot.
rolling up in your
Yeah.
limousine,
In the Pine Valley
helicoptering
Country
in the
Club.
Pine Valley Country Club. Can we park your car for you,
Yeah.
Mr. Locke? Can we do that?
There
Typical.
might be valet parking.
Wow.
Pulls are full, boys.
You don't care because you have a driver.
That's right.
Right. Who drives, right? Who drives?
The little
That's
people.
little people.
And at the Pine Valley Country Club, they let you vote 6 or 7 times if you're white, right?
Oh, easily.
Easily.
If you're a member, 10 or
12,
11.
and
10,
if you're
10,
not
12,
and
a
if
good
you're not
dozen.
white, then you're cleaning the
Right.
cars.
Yes.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're shining the Lincoln town car out. in the
Good
parking
deal,
lot.
good deal.
So, Right On Game. Karen Hoffman over the Right On Game, she gave me a call this morning. Ohio, she said she's never seen it that packed in her life.
Talking about the polls.
The polls.
What is what is the Right On Game so we know?
RightOnGame.com is
Right On Game.
Right On Game. Mocking the left feels so right.
So it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but for people on the right.
It's like apples to apples, Cards for Humanity. Yeah, it's a card game that mocks the left.
Oh, this is going to be a good one for the holidays. Go to rightongame.com.
Yes, sir.
Rightongame.com. Give her a little plug. Okay, so and we'd already seen record early voting turnout.
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere. I think at this point, we're at what time is it? About 8:15 Eastern.
Yeah.
We're everywhere Eastern and Central time zones other than Arkansas, which is just ass backwards for some reason, opens at 8:30, 7:30 Central. But everywhere else, I think in Eastern and Central times, the polls are open. People are going. It'll be interesting to see. I've not seen any new articles come in yet this morning of, I don't think you'll see articles if there's big turnout.
Maybe not.
Well, who
Traditionally,
normally turns out big on Election Day?
people on the right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they vote in droves. It's a deal, and here we are. They vote multiple times too.
Yeah.
I hear.
Yes.
So far, what
that's
I've
been
seen
told.
in the past couple of weeks is a tempering of the blue wave talk that was early on months and months ago.
Yes.
But then some still bringing it up. New York Post today has a cartoon caricature. Did you see it of Donald
Yes.
Trump sitting in a beach chair on a beach with a blue wave getting ready to crash down upon him, and it says, "What? Me worry?"
Yeah.
Now, again, we're still seeing ABC. I think last night or this morning was still talking about the blue wave is coming.
Yeah.
But then others are hedging it. I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too about, see, we got it right. On one hand, they want to say, yes, there's this blue wave in case there's a blue wave, and also to try to perpetuate a blue wave. So
Yeah.
you don't go to places people aren't. People go to places where people are. So if you think there's a blue wave, if you speak things like this, you can speak them into existence, and that's what they've been hoping to do.
Yep.
Plus, they're also just personally hoping it happens, right?
Well, I will tell you, I've been having some interesting conversations with the Freedom Works people who have been coming in and out as your show's been going on and having conversations. And it's the second time in the last 5 days I've heard about a 3 to 5% what they're calling the whisper Trump vote.
3 to 5%.
3 to 5%. I was talking to Colby here at Freedom Works. He's going to be in on the show probably here in a little bit. But he said out there is a quiet majority out there that just will not tell you they're voting for Trump. And he marks that at 3 to 5%. So I want you to think about that for a second, because we're having a conversation in there, and I'm like, look at all these toss-ups in the House. They're razor-thin margins, 1 or 2 one way or the other. So if there is a 3 to 5% vote to the right, most toss-ups will break right.
Yeah.
You know what? That may be our wow. Every election, whether it's small or big, there are the unforeseens. The hindsight's 2020, and you're like, we as a society, media missed it. Trump, obviously, a huge one in 2016.
Yep.
And the motivations for people to support him, right? That's what was missed. There's always a little something. Bush versus Gore, whatever it is, there's always a little something. There's one coming today, and it may be the silent Trump, and not just Trump, silent people on the right.
Yes.
And here's why.
Yes.
We spent some time talking with my buddy Matt Whitworth and the update. We tell you about Gab and MeWe and all of these that are being shut down. We know in today's court of public opinion, it is not favorable to mention you are on the right, conservative
at all.
Nope.
In fact, you can all day long post liberal crap.
Or you can stand in line in front of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and she can grab your butt.
Yes.
I've heard that. I
Absolutely.
heard a story about that.
Yes. No, you can post all across social media your love for things on the left.
Oh, yeah.
And you will never be challenged.
Nope.
At work, at school. It doesn't matter. If you're on the left and you can, even working for right-wing people,
Yep.
because you know the court of public opinion. Look at this, Kavanaugh, everything,
Yep.
the Me Too movement. It is about leftist stuff.
Yep.
Right? If you do anything on the right, you're racist, homophobic, so you shy away.
Right.
The world we may be moving into more and more, and Trump was part of that, was part of what got
Yes.
Trump.
That's right.
It wasn't, now we think of it as not admitting that you like Trump.
Right.
True. But prior to Trump, it was not admitting that you like Trump, but it's not admitting you were on the right.
Right.
I think that's the bigger movement. Trump is part of it, but it's not admitting or willing to disclose in any fashion that you're on the right.
Does the super secret handshake come back?
I think so.
I'm with you.
I'm with you, right?
I'm there.
Remember the old days when your parents told you don't talk about religion or politics?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
This is why.
Oh, but only now if you're on the right.
Right.
Yes, but this is
Yeah, it's
why.
one-sided.
This is why, because I have a feeling the sentiments were the same back in the day, whenever that was. But that's why they said never it would just start a fight. But not. I think it was probably coming from the left. They were just as violent, and wacky then.
So if that's the case, I think FreedomWorks is absolutely right. It's probably on the low end, 3 to 5%. And we are only going to see that number grow. If trends continue, as we've seen, again,
Right.
Me Too, Kavanaugh, everything else. The example I used, we produced some videos that during the Kavanaugh campaign, Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and you go back and find them, whatever. As an example, we have a woman who we just showed her silhouette, and she claimed that she was sexually assaulted by all these different Democrats and whatever.
As a parody.
As a parody. And the point was to say, you can, as ridiculous as they were,
Yep.
all women are to be believed.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
So how come they weren't challenging them? And they were really well done. Simple, wonderful. And people loved them.
Yep.
Nobody shared them.
Oh, they couldn't.
No.
They could not.
You cannot have that stuff on your social
because
media.
you've got Aunt Margaret on the left over here who's ready to rip you. Oh, my God, Sally.
Or
you're
your
not for
boss,
women.
or your boss,
That's
or
right.
your school.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can't share them. That's the point. It's all underground. Wow, you may get to a point in the next couple of election cycles where they cannot count people on the right at all because it'll be a 20, 30%.
And I think that's why you see the polling the way it is. You know Wayne Allen Root.
Yeah.
Out there in
Root
Vegas.
for America.
Yes. He has an article this morning. I was on Western Journalism, and he's saying the same thing. Pollsters are polling only people who think like themselves. You just hit on it. They're only polling Democrats. They're not polling Republicans, so you're getting a very skewed look of what the actual election looks like because of this vote. Republicans can no longer put their voice in the public realm. If they do their job, their boss,
Everything's
their
at risk.
family is
Everything.
at risk. So here we are. You look at these. You might have hit on the biggest thing that might happen tonight.
This is at least part of it.
Oh, I believe
now,
so.
if that is and that's the bigger story moving forward in the next couple of years too.
Yep.
Next couple of elections. So the smaller then would be this election and how that impacts it.
Yep.
FreedomWorks is right. Let's say it's just 3%.
Oh, yeah.
The secret
That's
Republican
still big.
Trump. How many of those points are a point off?
I would bet 80% of those races are between 1 and 2 points.
Right.
And so it swings it to the right.
So add half of that. Add a point and a half
Yep.
to any one of those on the fence in favor of the person on the right, the Republican. Add a point and a half. And
So
again,
it's a
FreedomWorks
red
says
wave.
FreedomWorks says it could be as much as 5%, right?
Yeah.
Or
And they're
5
not, and they're not the only ones that have told us that.
Right. So a point and a half. Give everybody a point and a half. And what does that do to the numbers?
Oh, huge. Huge. I went over the numbers.
It's not even a blue trickle.
No, not even at all. I mean, it's not even a puddle.
It's not even the blue water that swirls in your toilet.
It's a bad tomorrow morning for Rachel Maddow. She might cry again.
That dude will not be happy. I'm telling you, that's going to be one unhappy. That Ralph Macchio-looking woman is going to be. Wow, that's going to be.
When she's looking in the mirror, shaving tomorrow morning before she goes to work.
Shaving her face or her chest. Either
Yes.
one. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Back in the day,
goodness.
she was okay looking when she
Stop.
actually looked like a woman.
Stop it.
Did you ever see pictures of her in
you
high school and
stop it
college?
now. You stop it now.
Oh, she had long blonde locks. She was okay.
Ron, pull his man card.
No,
and
you pull her up and look at her with the
my
blonde
God.
hair. You'll see.
You just said Rachel Maddow was hot.
Back in the day, look at her. She wasn't busted like she is now. See that?
Busted or
Busted
bust?
up.
Oh.
Look at that. Now look at it. Show.
Let's see. All right, I got to see
And Brad's
this
going to
now.
send up pictures.
I got to see this.
Okay, she's not.
All right.
Right?
Maybe.
You're still tainted by.
Well,
right?
I see the butch.
You give her at least a 7, right?
See the what?
The butch.
Oh.
Because, I mean, she's thin.
I think she's pretty hot.
And she may have a, threesome with you. That adds a point.
You
I say may
you
or
mean
may
both,
have.
both
You
of
just-
her and you?
Yes.
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 I'm saying may. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
She's obviously
This thing's
open.
went off the
Maybe we
rails.
just move on.
Yeah.
Get to
Wow.
some other important things. Dog Tag Furniture, they're on board, right?
Oh,
They're all
yeah,
set. They're donating it?
dogtagfurniture.org. Yes, sir. And great guy, Troy's a veteran. They're on board to give away that flag we have in our studio.
Okay.
They're going to give
That's the
that.
one that says Dog Tag Furniture,
Yes,
the
sir.
22 logo.
Yep. That's the 22 logo there. They're on board for that. But great company.
They're always looking for your help. If you go to dogtagfurniture.org and donate, they'd really appreciate it. I believe they are still the only veteran service organization that is around that helps pay the funeral expenses of veterans who have passed. And that can be active duty or it could be veterans as well.
Yep.
I think it's $2,500 is the death benefits that somebody gets for burial if you're active duty.
Yep.
Well, the average funeral is almost $7,000.
Or more.
Yeah, that's the average.
Yeah, or more, depending
Now,
where you're at.
Right, it could be more. So now you're saying your family automatically gets hit with what ends up being, even with that money, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in funeral expenses.
Yeah.
They don't need to deal with that. Seriously, these people defending it, they don't need. And if you're a veteran, it's $300. I think it was. It was only in the hundreds.
$250, $300. So it's very low.
So imagine you got a veteran, proudly served their country, comes back with PTSD or something like that, and it says struggled, right? Have not gotten the help from the VA that they have deserved. And sadly, they end up committing suicide, let's say, 22 to 70 a day.
Yeah.
And their family then is like, hey, sorry about your loss, Mr. Locke. Here's that bill for $7,000.
Yeah.
You think
Amazing.
if those veterans were alive, what do they want? Why did they go fight? They fought for freedom in America.
That's right.
But more personally, they fight for you, their brother, their sister, their mom, their dad, their kids. This is who they fight for. What do they want? They want them to not be stuck with a $7,000 bill. They're self-supporting people. They'll do it themselves. This is it. They don't want to ask for help. So we're going to ask for on their behalf.
That's right.
Would you please go and donate at dogtagfurniture.org? You can donate, but the best way is just buy a wooden flag. They've
got
about
a great $150, and if you do
very cool.
MoJo 30 or MoJo 50, you'll get 30% off.
Yes.
And those big flags about $150. That's $45.
Right. So imagine what a great gift that would be coming down to the holidays and that. Open it up.
And that flag's nice. The one we got in the office there is about 3.5 feet long and about 2 feet tall. It's a nice piece
They
of work.
honestly look really cool on the wall.
It's well
They
put.
do.
I mean, you get your money's worth for what
Yeah.
you pay. But what a great cause! Your money's going directly toward veterans getting their funerals paid.
So imagine you give this gift to somebody for Christmas or birthday or whatever coming up. Veterans Day is coming up in just a couple of days.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, Veterans Day is Sunday, observed on Monday. Go and buy it today.
Yeah.
And when you tell somebody, I got you this flag, maybe you get it for a veteran, and you say, you know what else? I got it at Dog Tag Furniture, which means the proceeds go to benefit the death.
Oh yeah, and you can get the Air Force, the Army, the Navy.
They'll
you
do
get all
custom
and
stuff.
all the custom stuff, and I think you're going to get free shipping, and you can get it in time for Christmas if you order now.
Yeah, so dogtagfurniture.com. They also have ball caps and whatever, but please support .org, dogtagfurniture.org. More of your communiques coming up live from Washington, D.C. Get them in. Tell us what you've learned today. Hashtag what I learned today.
A free exchange of ideas. MoJo 50.
The mothership has landed.
It has. The circus has come to town, and it's come to D.C.
We brought the midgets and the puppies and the ponies.
They'll be on full display tonight. Now, immediately following this broadcast, a half hour from right now at MoJo50.com, and all of the places where we are discovered or found or viewed or consumed is Matt Locke and the Conservative Cartel. Matt Locke and Ron
Phillips. Ron Phillips.
Here, Spin of the Dials radio style is part of the broadcast as well, so I'm sure they'll do a fine job. And then it's all hands on deck tonight. We're going to have Stunt Brains slated to appear
and
as well.
Deck is very excited about that.
Oh, yeah. All hands on deck. Deck is going to love that.
Oh, big time.
Fantastic.
Big time.
So Zero Hedge had an article that I found interesting, 12 examples that show that America is far more messed up than when you were a kid. Far more messed up than when you were a kid.
It's not surprising.
Do you believe it is more messed up than when you were a kid?
Yes. Or perhaps maybe it's more on display how messed up it is.
See, this is one of the fallacies, I believe, that when you say messed up or things are horrible,
right?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that you go, this is not good. This is terrible. Lots of it.
Yes.
Things that you can say, this is different.
Uh-huh.
But there's some better things, too.
Yes.
And I don't mean just technology.
Oh.
I mean even some of the claims by people on the left, even though they won't admit it, when they mention how horrible it is in the patriarchy and we've got to smash this, stop it. Even within their progressive little world, the things that they value.
Right.
America better off today, 2018, or in 1978, 40 years ago.
Are things better now? Is that what you're saying?
As far as their little progressive ideology, the women's and the gays and the blacks.
Yes. I think things are far better.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Yes.
Where they've gone off the rails is they've overplayed their hand because it didn't become it wasn't truly about equality. It was about control.
Yes.
And so then you get the resistance, not the term that we're using now, but some people resisting all of that and saying, we've had enough. We don't care if you're gay or black or woman or whatever. Go and live your life and be. People on the right are just tired of hearing of the propaganda.
Right.
That's where you get into the trouble. And then I would say there's some other really good stuff as well. Our understanding people on the right have moved to some better libertarian positions. It used to be, if you're on the right, it's got to be about those Christians. I'm about those Christians, but I'm about you being what you want to be about. And the conservative movement taking a solid step into the libertarian realm. Remember, libertarian is liberty, not liberal.
Right.
Is a good thing because it should be based on freedom, personal freedom. And then as far as society functioning properly, that personal freedom comes with personal responsibilities and accountabilities.
Yes, and if you want to pretend you're a fiddler crab, that's great. I just don't make me don't force me to try to
right exactly
the same way.
So let me go down their list and see if these things are bad. Number one, when I was young, fast food was something that people would eat as a treat every once in a while. Today, more than a third of the country has made it its lifestyle. Is that bad?
Is that bad? It's I can see that there's probably some truth to that.
And by the way, real quick, Zero Hedge got this from the American Dream blog and have debunked some of these.
Okay. Do we eat more fast food? I would say we probably do eat more fast food. And is that a good thing? Probably not. But that has to do with time.
Well, they link to, first of all, a story that says 1 in 3 Americans eat fast food daily, but one myth is debunked. They're saying it's not exactly like that. And as Zero Hedge points out, when asked by researchers, 37% of adults said they had eaten fast food at least once over the past 24 hours. And that was a surprise.
All right.
But it's not exactly as being reported. So,
okay. I mean, do I think you should live off it? No. But
here's why it's actually a good thing. It was said 1 in 3 say they've made it a lifestyle, in other words, right?
Right.
It's a good thing because it is accessible.
Yes.
If you see that level of accessibility
right.
and the variety of fast food options
yes.
and then the variety of restaurant options,
right.
Look around your community. How many fast food restaurants? And then how many restaurants in general?
Right. There's
how
food
much
everywhere.
food is there? There's
yes.
food everywhere.
Yes.
That's a great thing. Used to be we complained because there was not enough food in the world for people. They starved. And now we're not eating healthy food. Which is better? Not having any food or having the ability to make choices? Ta-da!
Yeah, choices are good, yes.
Now, we are often making bad choices. That is a different argument.
Yes.
So the fact that that many Americans, it's a problem that they're not making better choices.
Yeah. You don't have to go out and kill a squirrel now.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people like Daniel Boone, although you bring anyone back from 100 years ago or 150 years ago, and they would be stunned at how much food is available. And how everything is everywhere.
Right. You cannot starve in America unless you are trying to starve in America.
It is easy to go get fast food. However, if you want to make the smart choice and eat healthy, it takes effort, but make the effort. You decide. You choose how you want to spend your time.
Now, if you're saying, well, it's not good because so few people are eating healthy, got it. You're right. That's a different argument. Part of that argument comes from making good choices, and people who make bad choices are usually lower on the socioeconomic scale. Not a race issue, not a food desert. It's not that. It's that you are just simply not able to afford the more expensive, healthier food.
It is, and it can get very expensive
very quickly
to eat healthily.
Right. Or the other option is you have to have the knowledge. Now, if you have the knowledge on how to eat healthy, it can be comparably cheap. I mean, look at fast food. That dollar menu does not exist the way it used to.
Right. No kidding.
But if you go, okay, eggs. Eggs are cheap. You get a dozen eggs for $1, $1.50. Sometimes they're on sale and they're 98 cents or something.
Then you got to cook them. I mean, you could eat them raw, and I've done that, but
okay, and eggs are pretty easy to cook, right? So you could scramble scramble 3 eggs, throw them in a skillet for about 30 cents.
Yeah. So it's all about how you direct your time.
There's a good portion of your protein for one meal, about 30 cents. Okay, and there are beans. Beans are another one. Beans are cheap. Some you got to soak in water if you buy the dried beans. Some are canned or whatever. As long as you're not getting canned beans with a lot of sodium and additives, guess what? They're pretty healthy, right? The dried beans are really healthy, or split peas or anything like that. You can eat healthy inexpensively. But even if you're telling me, Doc, it's too difficult, whatever, fine. Then the solution is to raise the economic standards of all people. How do you do that? Capitalism. Stop with the rules and regulations. And the same thing is true with knowledge. How do you gain knowledge? Stop campaigning and promoting all of these issues and laws that are telling people they shouldn't be families, they shouldn't stay together, they shouldn't learn these things, you've got to be independent, you've got to be progressive, and all of this nonsense. There's the solutions. All right, another reason they say that things are far more worse or messed up than when you were a kid.
Right.
Number 2, overdosing on drugs is now the leading cause of death for Americans under 50, and we now are grappling with the worst opioid crisis. Remember the story we saw?
Yeah, the FDA just approved an opioid that is 10 times more powerful than the most powerful one we have on the market today.
Do you remember the other one about the myth that maybe we're not addicted to opioids like they claim?
Yes, I remember that one too. There are a lot of.
It's become a buzz issue.
Yes, it has. So there's a lot of things going on.
I will say this: the difference from when I was a kid. We all drank. Me and my friends, we all drank like fish. So this is in the 80s, a lot.
You and Brett Kavanaugh.
There were a couple of people I knew, just that I knew that may have, at that point, tried a marijuana cigarette. I knew some people. They'd go out on the porch at a party, and
you hung out with them.
They had the little roach clips and whatever.
What's a roach?
I don't know.
I don't either.
So there were a couple people who tried those things. And once in a while, I knew people who even took a speeder.
A speeder? What is that, like an upper?
An upper, yeah. Took speed.
Okay.
Speed, little White Cross. Yep. I wouldn't know which specifically they're called.
Right.
Anything like
and
that.
You can't get those anymore, I've heard.
Right. So there were those. But we didn't see, it was out there, but you didn't know the harder drugs. The cocaine was for the adults when they were rich and on Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
Heroin was from people that were older, living down in the 70s. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was out there, but not epidemic.
Yeah.
The difference now is you do see kids at parties just going through medicine cabinets, grabbing handfuls of whatever pills are out there.
Yeah.
But the issue is different. than what they're trying to make this. This has to do with veterans and not getting the services they need. This is cultural, about the nuclear family being broken up. This is about the progressive agenda. It's all of those things. You want to stop that. It's an easy fix, and it's conservatism. It's telling people that there is a right and a wrong and holding people accountable for their actions, holding them accountable. Number 3, they say, we often remember the 1970s, 80s as the time when cocaine was out of control in America, but the truth is that cocaine deaths in the U.S. just hit a brand new all-time record high.
What?
If that's the truth, which that's disputed as well. But, Brad, think about this a moment. Cocaine deaths reached an all-time record high, trumping marijuana deaths, not even close.
Okay. All right, let's just take that.
Marijuana is a Schedule I drug.
Yes.
Worst of the worst. Cocaine is Schedule II.
Right. Yeah. They need to get their priorities.
So the issue here, once again, is in these areas where we do have things that are worse now, the worst is coming from government.
Yes. And by the way, I don't know anybody who has done coke in a very, 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 very long time.
They met number 4 on the list. They say, and of course, meth, as it continues to spiral wildly out of control. Just recently, a mother was arrested for leaving her 2 young children alone in a hot car with a bag of meth sitting on the front seat.
A bag. Well, okay.
We've seen several of those stories the last couple of years. There was another couple were passed out in the car with the kids strapped in the back in the hot car, and the cops found them.
Right.
We've seen those as well again.
The same people who leave the open bag of razor blades on the kids on the seat next to the kid in the car.
Drugs are another example of the socioeconomic problems. If your life is going well, you generally use a different type of drug. It's recreational for fun, not recreational as self-medicating, and those are the two differences. Yes. If you have money, it's recreational for fun, and it's party time, and that's great. Still a problem, but even if you have a problem, you're going to be able to afford to go to addiction clinic, right?
Right.
And it's much better. Yeah. Most people that have trouble with drugs and meth and these are trying to self-medicate. Veterans and poor economics. You solve those problems, and you solve a lot of this. And that also ties into mental health. We are going to find out that mental health problems in America are far worse than we realize and contributing to most of these.
Yes.
Let's see. Speaking of discount retailers, it says something very unusual recently happened at the Walmart store. An 8-year-old girl and an 81-year-old man offering to buy her from her mother for $200,000. That's worse today in America? No. There was a book a couple of years ago. Actually, it's probably even longer. That's probably about 10, 15 years ago, when the internet age was really amping up. Let's say mid to late 90s. Yeah. So I guess that's more like 20 years ago.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. And the book was all about what you're afraid of, things that you're afraid of. Okay. And the argument was what you're afraid of, you shouldn't be afraid of. And the things you're not afraid of, you should be afraid of.
Clowns.
And you're afraid of clowns. You should definitely be afraid of those.
Yes. Everyone should be.
They used as an example all of the hysteria for the past 20 years about your kids being targeted online, sexual predators, online, monitor. Of course, you should monitor. Of course, that can happen. It was not epidemic. In fact, your kids were more likely to be killed in a car accident than targeted online for just sex, not even murdered or sold into slavery or something. Far more likely. And yet, people don't think about that.
It's far more, I don't want to use the word sexy. It is more sensational.
Right.
To talk about how they could be targeted. And it makes for good news stories.
There it is. News stories and water cooler talk, Brad.
Yes. It's the To Catch a Predator. It's those shows, and it was all of that. There was a big wave of that until, of course, To Catch a Predator had to shut their production down because the guy shot himself.
That helps.
So yes, so there's a lot of that. It's about the way the news is reported.
It's better news story and better water cooler story.
Yes, it is.
So imagine
much.
What is going to get you more attention around the water cooler, or what are people going to be more interested around the water cooler?
Right.
81-year-old man offers to buy an 8-year-old girl at the Walmart for $200,000, or there was a car accident.
Right. And $200,000. You can get at least $300,000 or $400,000 for kids these days.
Are they that much?
They're going way.
I'd have more kids if I knew that was
no
the case.
kidding. I know. That's why birth at the hospitals, they charge you
See, and
so
the
much for
problem
birthing.
is bonding with them. That's where the trouble. If you have the kid and you don't bond with them, then they're easy to sell.
It's really
you
a
don't have to
whole
think
lot
about
easier.
that.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
You don't know them, then you don't have the
No.
guilt. You don't. Oh, I remember the smile on little Jimmy's face
If you
around the holidays.
Just refer to him as number 3.
Right. You're like, now I remember that around the holidays. And yes, we have this nice house for $400,000 or $500,000, but I'm haunted by, the smiling Jimmy's face on his birthday.
Yes,
If you just give them right up, there's no haunting
Exactly.
of that. That's
Yes.
how you have to do it.
You
It's all
just-
about managing
It
these
really
things.
is. It's much easier to look at a picture of Grant than
They
it is
say
a picture of your kids.
also on the list, we are inventing new ways to abuse children. Just recently, it came out that a daycare center in Missouri had hosted a fight club for kids. Again, these are the exceptions, not the rules. More allegations of sexual abuse is on the list. They say in Massachusetts, a youth football coach has been charged with raping numerous young boys and recording the attacks on video. I would say there's something good about all of those conversations. At least people are more aware of them. And again, on the grand scale, these things don't happen that often. We just hear about them more. It's more reported. It's more sensational. And also, where's your concern about the misreporting or the disproportionate concern or the lack of reporting? In other words, we hear about this youth coach because he was targeting boys and filming it. What about all of the female teachers that continue to target both male and female students and this is a regular occurrence. You still do not have people angry the same way.
No, especially if the woman is attractive.
How else are things more messed up now? According to the list, it says another thing happened. So for a mass brawl, up to 200 school students in Philadelphia. They had a mass brawl. They just went nuts. And we see the videos of kids getting in fights at like the Burger Kings and whatever, right? You see those all the time now.
Whatever happened to fighting toughens you up?
Whatever happened to that, Brad? No brawls when you were a kid?
Oh, we had, there were.
Not brawls. Brawls.
No, brawls.
Fights.
That's totally different. Yeah, sorry.
Of course, there were all kinds of them.
People will always fight.
We had so many of those. A lot of them just turned out to be, we're going to be a big fight tonight, and you're fighting with another school or another group of kids. It never happens. There still were some. There were fights. This is not new.
No.
No, it's Rumble.
Not. Yes. That's gone around the 50s. They would go out there and drag race and fight.
How was it back then? Was it scary for you?
You'd have to ask Ron. He's much older than I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ron, how were the Rumbles in the 1940s? I mean, what was it like?
Going back to the 30s, maybe.
The 30s.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a clue. I wasn't really a rumbler.
No, you weren't?
No, hell no.
The Fitzpatricks, none of your family was
It's Phillips. It's Ron Phillips.
I'm sorry, what?
It's Ron
No,
Phillips.
his last name, his family's name is
it's
Fitzpatrick.
Yes, it's Phillips.
Oh,
You're close.
Okay.
You're very close.
No, nobody in your family, big fighters? You were lovers,
not at
weren't
all.
you?
We were lovers. We were passive-aggressive people. That's what we
Exactly. Wow. I'm going to stand over here and say something sarcastic to you. That's how I fight. I fight with my passive-aggressive, sarcastic words.
My wit and charm.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say it. Oh, no, trust me. You look really tough.
Uh-huh. Tough guy there, huh? Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
And you always have to end the sentence with asshole.
You're really tough, sure. Yeah, what you guys said, yeah. Yeah, we're all very afraid, yes. Passive-aggressive. No. Sure, sure. Why is it when I'm trying to think of passive-aggressive insults, I start thinking of things my wife has said to me? I'm like trying to give examples. I'm like, no, the lawn looks great. No, I'm sure it would do well if you didn't mow it for another couple of days. It needs to grow a little longer first.
Anytime you start a sentence with no.
No, sure.
I
You
mean,
know it's going to be good.
I don't know why you chose that paint technique, but sure, whatever.
Another example of how more the world is messed up now than previous. So much pure evil around us. It says that if you really want to make a big media splash, just say something that is really politically incorrect. In our current environment, it's about everything that offends the thought police. For example, Kleenex was recently forced to give up their man-sized tissues, supposed to give them a new home or a new name because the old name was considered sexist.
What? Man-size? Okay. Men are generally larger than women, I would hope.
You just said 4 triggering things there.
First of all, men.
Yeah, you should
Does say
lead. We
women.
shouldn't lead with men.
Okay.
Any sentence. Number 2, to say men are larger than women. Says who? Says who?
I'm going to own that one. I will own that one because
No.
if there are women larger than me, they scare me.
Okay, that's wrong too. And then what was the rest of the original statement? You said something else.
Men should be larger than women. Didn't I say
Should
that?
be, or you would hope, or something.
would
Why?
hope.
Why would you?
Because
And man size. That's a
man size.
How do you know it's not woman size? So there's a lot of problems there. The issue, they got it wrong here a little bit. They said if you say something politically incorrect, you'll get attention or whatever, and that is
Right.
true. You will. That's not the problem. The problem is that everybody is butthurt
Yes.
and reacts to the politically incorrect. Your reaction to politically incorrect, if you are bothered by it or anything you're bothered by, forget it. Remember, politically incorrect is mincing your words.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yeah,
Person-
yes, it's trying to make sure that you tailor your,
politically correct is tailoring. It is not saying
right.
tailoring.
Is tailoring all your words to make sure that they fit in everybody's
or
little,
any. Right. Politically incorrect, just letting it fly. So
Yes.
if you're politically incorrect, the proper reaction, if you are bothered by somebody being politically incorrect, is click,
Yeah.
or you walk away, and you go about your business.
Yes.
We want to be offended now by this stuff.
Yeah.
It gives us attention. It gives you the platform. When you get to bitch today at work that so-and-so said something that was whatever, you get to be princess for a day.
You get to write a post on your Facebook page about how incensed you were and how insensitive
And everybody
else.
paid attention to
Yes.
Brad because he was so
I'm
bothered
so
today.
sorry.
and all
I
of
got
these
40
things.
likes on that.
Wow.
And, 85 comments telling me how, oh, so sorry that some people are just such.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then part of it is the media's fault over the years, too, because they've asked everybody's opinion on stuff where you see something and you're like, yes, we're out here at the incident. What is your name, sir? Bradley J. Staggs?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Bradley
that's
J.
me.
Staggs.
Yep.
It turns out the woman was high in
Yes.
the car.
Yep.
Her kids were right
Yep.
there.
Horrible.
It was meth.
Horrible. Yep.
What is your take on that?
I just
what
don't-
should happen to her?
Oh, they should put her under the jail.
What?
They should
What's
probably,
that?
They should probably take her out back and kill her. I'd
Kill
just
her.
take her out back and beat the crap out of her, then kill her, and then put her under the jail. That's what people like that need to have happen to them.
That's what you we were just talking to your husband who's here.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he
That's-
said that
that's Kevin.
He said that you yourself were busted 3 times in the exact same scenario
that was
over the
different.
past
That
couple
was a
of
different time in
scenario with your
the
kids.
circumstances surrounding that. Kevin lies like he lies.
He lies.
Yeah, things have changed a lot different than for now.
So it was different when it was
Much
you
different.
who had
Yes,
that
it was.
happen.
A whole lot
but what
different.
should happen to this woman?
Oh, beat her senseless, then kill her, then put her under the jail. I mean, we need to get rid of society. It's people like her that
Am
cause
I right?
problems. Yeah.
This is what it's become.
Yep.
All right, before we find out what we learned today and get your communiques in, and also don't forget to share throughout the day our posts about what's going to happen tonight, our coverage. Our mockery begins at 7 o'clock. Make sure to share if you have any concerns, questions, races that you want covered, things you want answered. We'll get to those as well. But I got to remind you about Patriot Mobile's deal that they have right now. They have an amazing opportunity for you. It is patriotmobile.com/doc. patriotmobile.com/doc. It's real easy to switch. But right now, with unlimited plans start as $20 a month. $20 a month.
That's very little money, and that's $20 same as downtown.
That's right. And they have another deal for you. It's buy one, get one free in
Whoa.
November. Buy one line, get another one free for 12 months.
Wow. This is like turning into the super lazy person's way to make a difference in the world.
I don't know what more we have to do, you folks, to
I can think of a couple ways
do
to
for
do it.
you, to tell you to switch. PatriotMobile.com/buy one, get one free lines throughout the month of November, and $20 a month for unlimited plans. That's the starting point. It's 1-800-A-PATRIOT, 1-800-A-PATRIOT, or patriotmobile.com/doc.
What do you mean it's let's go?
All righty, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. The end of our pre-midterm elections daily MoJo coverage live from Freedom Works. But before we go, as always, let's find out what we learned today. I only learned a couple things. By that I mean a couple moments to write these things down. We learned if you're a woman who is not in control of your marriage, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Finally, we learned Ireland Baldwin is Pakink as F.
That's a good thing, right?
And we learned both Rumor Willis and Alec Baldwin are busted.
Yeah.
See what I
do. I
He's
see.
busted
You're
both
very
ways
hip.
there.
Yes.
I'm old and new.
You are.
I'm the
You're
hot
good.
side hot and the cold side cold.
That
That
when those
was
meet in
old.
the middle, that's
That
warm,
was old
right?
too,
They're just
by the way.
lukewarm.
Bradley J. Staggs, what if anything did you learn today?
I learned that if Ben and Jerry's was intellectually honest, they just call their new flavor F Trump in the A. I learned that I need to apologize to the FreedomWorks IT department in advance before they get in this morning and check my internet search history.
Lot of bad
It
things.
was research for the show.
That's what we always
It was
claim.
research for the show. I learned that our last best hope for the country is headed this way, and it's shaped like a giant phallus.
Okay,
That's
you're right.
weird.
I'm going to give you that.
And I also learned that Matt wasted a golden opportunity in line behind Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
I know, right?
I will never, ever waste that
Be prepared if that ever happens to you to claim that somebody like Debbie What's-Her-Name Schultz grabbed your butt. But you got to go big with it.
Big.
And if you could plan it ahead of time, have somebody film it.
Yes, and send it to us, please.
All right, what, if anything, did the listeners learn today?
Debbie over on Facebook learned she misses my desk.
Your big desk?
My big desk.
All right.
That's understandable. Let's see here. Over on the Twitter here, 100% pickled squirrel taint, I think. Learned that, God forbid, we have the marijuana for those with neurological pain and or disorders.
Yes, that is right. Can't do
exactly.
that. The marijuana, no, can't have that.
It's coming soon. Stephen English learned we already have raised the standard of living in America. Even the poorest families have a refrigerator. Not true in the rest of the world, and that is...
You're right.
I mean, we've had so much good stuff around us for so long, we've forgotten how to appreciate it.
That is right. Notice, by the way, we have the additional bell. We have the cheap bell. I'm going to leave this here for FreedomWorks in the future. So if we ever broadcast again, they'll have their own bell.
Yes, I totally agree.
It's not our high-quality Bevan bells.
Well, we can't travel with everything for fear of things being stolen by the TSA.
This will make you appreciate us being in the studio when we have our real bells.
Yes, it will. 1024th Golden Taint Sleeve learned actually Nancy Pelosi's pie isn't meant to be eaten. It's kind of like the fruitcake you regift at Christmas.
Oh, you just regift it? That's Nancy's pie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
exactly.
All right.
TJ Toppin learned, hey, Doc, don't get used to all that table space. You won't be there long.
I know, right? I'm like, look at this. I can put stuff down. I can move about.
Uh-huh.
No.
And I'll just take, all I need in life over here is
just this and the
my
stapler.
little corner.
That's it.
This is all I need. Is
That's
my
all
little
I need.
corner. And TJ Toppin also learned if you put the monitor behind you like it is there, you could put videos and pictures up for viewers to see.
Yeah, we're going to do that. I don't know why they didn't get that done today, but we're going to get that done for tonight as well.
No one has
so
to
don't
be
worry. And for tomorrow morning.
Smart ass like that.
All right. I didn't get to the new numbers on procrastination. What with all the numbers from the poll, from the polls and whatever. We'll get to those tomorrow. What else do we have? Our post-election show.
Tomorrow is
what does
going
Matt
to be
Locke have
epic.
coming up on his show?
Oh, more epic content right here from FreedomWorks, and he could have a pony in here.
Okay, could. That's coming up. And don't forget tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, our coverage. Make sure to share those videos tonight and help us out. And register at MoJo50.com. Remember, this has been a Matt Fitzgerald production.
It is Ron Phillips.
Oh, it's Ron and Fitz. Damn it. Okay, you're right.
Ron
Remember.
Phillips.
Sic Semper Tyrannis. Good night, Steve Cannon.
Wherever you are.
Anya, now you go home.
Time for a nap.
It's Ron?
It's Ron and
Ron
Phillips.
Phillips. Okay, yes. I am going to write that down
You'll
for
get
tonight.
it soon. Maybe tomorrow.
F.
No, PH. It starts with PHI.